rocking to the music. You know how to do this. Don't second guess, just not a test. It's not a race, no black or white. Everything's great, no yesterday, never tomorrow. Only the present, that is your gift. It benefits you only if open. Everyone's chosen, beauty of choice. You can stay silent, forget your voice. You can malign them, hold a grudge, or stand before judge, just stay in your case. Top of the notion that you were just a mere drop in the ocean. This is your moment, fear is a Trojan horse. When you open or close your doors. Just when you feel like it's too much, just when you feel like you've had enough, take a step back from the edge and take a deep breath. Dance like you'll never, dance like you'll never, dance like you'll never, ever gonna live again. Sometimes you don't like where you live, sometimes you don't really like your kids, sometimes you grow out of your friends, sometimes it's your fault, just admit it. Finger point in the mirror, 3-point back, that's the tearjerker. You can wallow in sorrows, depressed of the past, afraid of the unknown tomorrow, or you can just live in the now. We all trying to figure it out. The rhythm inside of your chest that's keeping you moving, that's the solution. The roll on the floor is hard to ignore. Endorphin rush will flush your brains while you dance your pain away. Just when you feel like it's too much, just when you feel like you've had enough, take a step back from the edge and take a deep breath. Dance like you'll never, dance like you'll never, dance like you'll never, dance like you'll never, ever gonna live again.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome into the final season for the Challengers Elite. This is day 2 of action, which means the coverage will start now. And, well, we've already had a couple of matches that we've gotten through, but now we continue on with our second day of round robin. And, again, this is the final season for this 2022 year, so there's a lot on the line for players' reputation, bank accounts even, but also the prestige of walking away with the championship, given that Toronto is now in the rear view and Boston's coming up soon. I'm Spaceman. I'll be joined by Dream Crazy in just a moment, and we are going to be breaking down the action for you guys today. But first, Ellen, welcome into the broadcast. How you doing?
Oh, I'm fantastic, Spaceman. I mean, it feels like forever since we've been in the booth together, but hot minute here. And with stage 4 opening up yesterday, obviously we have some old faces and some new. I'm really excited for these matchups today and couldn't be more excited to get into it with you.
It has been like a couple months. It feels like it's been 10 years. It's been a long time. The time
real.
is working really interestingly in 2022. But here comes our schedule for today because, well, when it comes down to the matches we are going to be taking a look at, we have to talk about the teams that are in this entire circuit, just for Europe alone. And here is a look at the standings. We have started off up top with a Wobba-Bobs. It's a great name. I love that it exists. All the way down the line, Team War Rocker Academy, AYM Esports. You got Ultra EU. You've seen them before. Invincibles. Amalgamations of teams that have been here before, players that have been in this spot as well, but you are seeing different orgs circulate throughout. However, the notable ones, Rocker, Ultra, Team War, back in the mix.
Yeah, of course. And obviously with that new squad, Wobba-Bobs is kind of on the horizon. They started off the day hot yesterday with a 2-0. And going into this, I feel like this is maybe Ultra Academy's biggest threat at the moment because, well, as we know, Ultra Academy just they played that rescheduled match from AYM yesterday. And they're coming into this game off of a loss because we know that AYM, they actually took that game 3-1. So it's going to be interesting to see how they Ultra can bounce back in this next matchup here.
Yeah, that was a match that was supposed to take place yesterday, and they have now concluded it just about 10 minutes ago. So we will see how that essentially moves forward. But regardless, we still have matches we're going to get through today. Again, 2 for Europe, 2 for North America. But in general, these matches will be taking place throughout the course of the day. So if you're looking for the other teams currently playing, we will have that information available. However, here is the actual schedule that you'll see on mainstream for day 2 of this round robin action. Starting off, it's going to be Ultra Academy EU versus Wobba-Bobs. Then we got Katana Gaming, Rocker Academy. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back for North America later tonight. Ultra Academy North America, Iron Blood, following up with closing our stream on Electrify, Steel, and Destroy the Odds. So when we go down the list, Ellen, you and I were sitting last night in a call. We were talking about not only the matchups that we have, but the strength as it continues. As we divvy on down, talk to me about how these matchups get better and better, because it really does come down to a parallel of chess games when we look toward North America as well.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I mean, just with this matchup coming up right now, like I said, we have a Wobba-Bobs that have been dominating the scene, that have the return of Bressy, who, as we know, like from the first stage was rocking it with that Texas Nation squad. So really excited for that matchup. And then going into this next one with Rocker Academy, you know, we know that they have kind of been on the fence just since that swap with Journey, who is on that AYM squad, who they've been killing it. But Rocker Academy, you know, they still show some inconsistencies there. So really excited to see that Katana Gaming matchup, as, you know, that's one of the newer squads entering the scene. Katana Gaming, though, they did start off, you know, on a loss. They lost to a Wobba-Bobs. So curious to see that matchup and see how they fare together. But over in the NA side, yeah, we already know Ultra Academy NA. They're dominating the scene. Nothing new there. Like scraps going off. Like that whole entire squad is just complete monsters. But also Iron Blood Gaming, who placed really, really well at the event. So really excited for that one.
Yeah, it's going to be fun, I think is the right word, especially now that we've closed down towards the end of this season. Again, this is the last couple of weeks of action, but starting off today, our first matchup will be Toronto Ultra EU versus Wobba-Bobs, and that is where we kind of bring our attention now. It's Weeman, Vortex, Furious, and Beans for Ultra EU. You've seen them before. You know what this team can do. Versus Abusa, Brezzy, Chaxter, and Cobra. And this is an interesting matchup because when we look at Ultra Academy, yes, they just dropped their series 10 minutes ago, but I'm not going to put too much stock into an early morning matchup. They're still getting their feet under them. Sure, there is a lot of expectations, like there were with Rocker Academy in Europe. There's a lot of expectations, rightfully so, on this Ultra EU squad. We've seen them get championships before. We've seen them fall short before. This is a big season for them. They need to establish that they can be that #1 team in Europe. Talk to me about the matchup itself in our head-to-head. Ellen, what are you expecting generally down to the micro? What are you seeing?
Well, to start off, obviously, Ultra Academy EU, they did, you know, they had that J Gizmo. He literally went to London, of course. So they picked up Wee Man. They still need a little bit of time to get established here. But just with that AR presence, we're going to see hopefully some domination from them, from Wee Man. Just that more of aggressive style play, locking down those lanes. And then, of course, a Wobabobs, like they have that sub pressure for them. But as we talk a little bit more about Ultra Academy EU, as you see, starting off their current placing a second, Wee Man replaces Gizmo for Season 4, and opening hard points are their biggest strengths. So they usually have that tendency to start off strong just throughout the game. As they go along, they just need to keep that level of consistency throughout, because on the other side of a Wobabobs, like, you have veteran players over there, but you also have the return of Abusa, who's been using that AR, locking it down. And then, of course, that sub-aggression from Cobra and Chaxter. And Cobra, that's such an interesting story, because he was on that Saleo Signs roster, and then, he leaves that roster, he joins this squad, and they beat reputable names like Aroma, Ludi, and then they beat Signs to qualify. So I'm really excited to see just what they bring to the table going against a team like Ultra Academy, and see how it goes.
Yeah, Wobabobs placed top 16 in the Toronto Open. So again, there's a lot to be had with this roster. Obviously, they've become a group as of late, as of recent, but there's still highs to be had. And when they move through this entire bracket, you're going to have to go up against tough competition, especially this stage in the season, given that Vanguard is closing out its cycle, but also players are hitting their final form, right? Like, it's no longer about will this team form, will they work, will they, won't they? It's now just about execution in the end. If you have it, you have it. If you don't, you don't. There's not a lot of time to really shake things up. So that's where today and next week's going to be really interesting for what the validity of these rosters may or may not be. Again, Abusa, Brezzy, Chaxter, Cobra, an interesting amalgamation of players. Abusa, a player we've seen have standout years looking last year in Cold War. He was the primary aggressor in a lot of hard points. Very, very impressed with his play. Has had a bit of a slower year, not by stat-wise, just by the circumstance he finds himself in. This team could make a lot of waves, but they are going against a Toronto Ultra Academy EU team that has that AR dominance. You're looking primarily at a favorable 3 AR setup, even looking at Berlin's. While Ultra EU did drop the opening Berlin hardpoint yesterday in the first matchup against Katana, in the end, they bounced back and won 3-1, and it was pretty smoking hot. It was a 6-4 win of Bocage, and then they 3-0 to the control and 250-60 in the hardpoint. So we start off with 3 Berlins. I'm just saying, there's a lot of reps here for Ultra EU, and when we look at 3 ARs, I expect them to have success early on.
Yeah, for sure. And, you look at this matchup and you think, okay, if you look at Wobabobs, they played on, like, Tuscan seems to be their bread and butter. So it's no surprise to me that they are on Berlin, because for one, you don't want to play Toronto Ultra U on the Gavutu, but also you don't want to play a Wobabobs on Tuscan. So Berlin, no surprise here that we see 3 of them. And, as we get into this, it's going to be interesting to see. I'm really going to be expecting to see a lot of that AR dominance from both squads, but really it's going to rely heavily on the subs. I feel like in this case, Vortex, he's going to be that main person that's going to be getting those kills, but he's going to need some help there, on that sub pressure, because, well, Wobabobs, they've been dominating and both sides of the field, both on the ARs and the subs have been pretty dominant. They just have to keep that type of consistency going into this game.
Shout out to our observing team, Waldo and Shane, bringing you the action. Without them, we would just be us. And Waldo and Shane, veterans of the CDL, and just absolute legends in their own right. But getting into this series specifically, it is important to remember that for Ultra Academy EU, they did have a slow start looking back to yesterday when they started in their first opening hardpoint. And that really came down to the contest game for Katana, but I think that there was an interesting pick. And if Wobabobs want to have any success early on in these opening hardpoints, they're going to have to at least skate alongside Ultra. They have to find a way to keep this game close going into the second rotation of hills. But so far, pretty good for Ultra. 31 points, give up the scrap time, but it looks like they should be able to get over to rotation early and get set up for P2.
Yeah, and just on that break there, that was a huge shout out to Cobra, because he actually flanked around the stairs side and was able to counter in on that break. So the remaining scrap time over to Wobabobs is earned, but now you see Chax here waiting for his team so they can break this point, and Stevo pushes through the front, gets knocked down, and now they can work together to slide on through. But they have to worry about Wee Man, who's over on that water side, and that's a huge kill there from Chax as they clear off the point, and now it's a Wobabobs who have control, but they still have Beans in the back.
Yeah, the tough part of this game, at least in the opening hardpoints, could be where do the ARs really get positioned for Awoba? Do they have enough firepower, no pun intended, to be able to respond against the likes of Wee Man and Beans? They certainly do, but this is where you could chain this into a money hill and get your subs set up, get them kills, feed them early, get beat down, nice job, and try to get them at least involved in the game. Starting off, so far so good. All purple in the kill feed. It's another wipe for Ultra, and now we look to those transitional fights where the ARs are going to have their biggest task ahead of them. Abusable will shut down too. So numbers favoring Awoba Bobs for the moment, but inside early on with the sub, it is Wee Man. One through the back, good enough. Who should hold spawns, at least momentarily, at least get numbers in position to contest. He will. All purple again. Good setup by Ultra.
Yeah, and that was really interesting too, because you did see Bressi and Abusa like rotate early on that riverside, but I'm not sure. There was like an important gunfight that was lost there, and I don't know, just all members of Awoba Bob spawn out and got that remaining scrap time, but still Ultra Academy holding the back. Very, very key here as you see Beans kind of fighting along the lines there with Abusa, but gets flanked in the back from Cobra. Again, the subs cutting it down from Awoba Bobs. Now they remain in control. There's only 30 seconds left, so Ultra Academy basically have to make the decision, you know, do we send a couple of players to fight for scrap? Yes, they do. So Wee Man still there fighting, loses the gunfight though. Bressi, huge on that remaining kill, and still Awoba Bobs remain in control, but the problem is they have to figure out how to rotate here fast. Abusa has 3 players of Ultra Academy to worry about, knocks down 1 and still gonna play for his life. Knocks down 2, he's on a streak. Will he play for these streaks is the question, but Wee Man knocks him down and still 1 player left in the back. It is Cobra.
I mean, those kills are bigger than potential streaks. The fact that he stays alive long enough with position towards that second, or we should say that rotational P5 hill, that's big because it gives enough room for Awoba to kind of work through the sidelines and get into the hill, at least for an early contest. But if not, you continue to get numbers into the play, so you're always playing at somewhat of an advantage, especially with ARs trying to get us set up from Ultra. So while there is a quality hold at the moment, how long will it really last? It comes down to players like Chax, players like Cobra trying to work through the sidelines. Now, we get on the Brezi's POV as he gets shut down. All pinstripes in the moment in the kill feed. Here comes the util, and Cobra doesn't have much room to work with, but Abusa, the Guardian Angel, able to find 2. And this is a close game. This is what you want from Awoba early on, to skate with Ultra and keep it close.
Yeah, and that was a nice try there for a break from Ultra Academy. They're still going to send members to push this though and still get slayed out. Awoba Bob's looking on that rotation. Steve-O's going to try to cut the head off the snake here as he's watching those rotational kills, but still Ultra Academy is set up in a good position to get some good time here. Only about a 10-second difference between the two teams, but holding on strong. You see Wee Man with that AR in hand, trying to get this push here from Awoba Bobs, but it's Abusa and in the back with that AR, the top warehouse that pins him down. So realistically, it might be just a fight, just to play here. It's just to keep them off the time. And you see members dancing around. That mailroom control is really, very important. You see 2 members of Awoba Bob still controlling it. And Furious gets knocked down, but still Ultra Academy kind of a little bit scrappy on this hill. They got to start thinking about that rotation, and you see Furious is already there.
Yeah, Chax at 13-10, currently the only one inside the hardpoint for Awoba. Again, this team comes in 2-0, having a very good start. Furious able to light up for 2. Ultra did drop a series about 20 minutes ago. Again, it was a series they were supposed to play yesterday. They come in today, they at least get a bit of a warm-up, but they have not had the strong start. However, it has been good contest games. 17-12 from Abusa. We talked about him being an X-factor, having to be an aggressor in these opening hardpoints, and Cobra pushes up with the sub, will get dropped. Ultra not losing a lot of lives on those engagements, but regardless, they get the last, what should be 10 or so seconds on that last hill. They hit the rotation early on. We are back to our initial hardpoint, and so far so good for the boys in purple. We'll see if they can hold it early on.
Yep, and as they continue to hold on, realistically, Awoba Bobs is just going to break through the front here. Not really sending any players to the back, but a huge gunfight one from Chax and Bressi from the front will allow members of Awoba Bobs to actually push in here. But you see Steve-O is kind of taking that long route around the map, getting set up for the new, thinking of the new rotation. And I don't think any players of Awoba Bobs actually know this is coming. So Steve-O actually making his team spawn out in the back. Chax are still winning the gunfights at new. At least Ultra Academy, the plus side is they have a closer spawn towards that new rotation, but huge gunfight one off screen there by Cobra.
Yep.
And it leaves last alive Wee Man there, but still, Ultra Academy have the spawns, and while the scrap time 1 to Awoba Bobs.
Yeah, and you're going to keep Abusa out on that island, so this is just about how long Cobra can stay alive, because as he gets help, it's going to be easier to hold the hill, but he's drawing attention away from everyone else, and there's the wipe they were looking for, so Wobabobs have a chance now to get in and get some solid time. You just have to keep your sub alive. Cobra dipping and diving, tagged up, but still somehow in the play. 45 seconds to fight over. Finally, someone gets in the hill. The number's not quite here for Ultra. Player 7, that's Furious, trying to rotate now off spawn, but look at the confined pressure, the suffocation that Wobabobs have around the hard point. This is great because you're keeping Ultra out of the hill, but you're also always in a position to contest. Finally, Chak slides in, having a very strong game on a 4-speed in the realm of a glide bomb. Could he get it? No, shut down, but yet again, still a lead there for Woba.
Yep, still that lead, and Bressi just ends with a huge 2-piece. So now you're going to see Cobra quickly try to get to the other side here as he's fighting through fire, but he's going to wait patiently, of course, with his teammates, as you see, taking the long way around. Chak's huge gunfight, loses it to Beans, and still Ultra Academy at least hold on for now for the spawns, and Cobra still waiting, and Fire has to wait for his teammates to push on that water side.
Yeah, and those water hills, or excuse me, the water kills are going to be huge for breaking this hill, because you're going to need the util to connect if you want your AR to get towards the back, break those spawns, and get the flip. So far, it has been a bit of trading, but there is the flip. Player 2, it's Abusa, comes right off spawn. It's a close spawn now for Awoba, so they can try to play with their food here and get into the point. They do. They have the time, and they should have the hold.
Oh, that was so close too from Beans, because actually, like, when that flip happened, he almost saved it. He was able to get 3, but of course, the important kills on that Riverside is important as they secure the spawns of Wobabobs. Now, have 25 seconds left, but you still see Beans kind of fighting for that scrap. Maybe he can disrupt it a little bit, but he does fall quickly on the rotation as Abusa, and I don't think Steve-O actually spotted. Maybe he did, but they're dancing around each other. Abusa has a few members to worry about, but at least he has Cobra from the front to help him. He can secure this huge kill onto Steve-O, which he does. And Cobra from the front, that is a beautiful wraparound from a Wobabobs as they somewhat secure the spawn, but it gets a little bit scrappy here, as you see. That train hill does tend to be scrappy sometimes, though.
There are so many times when we're just looking at the minimap itself and players in position to make big plays, win individual gunfights towards the back of a rotation that pull attention away, where Ultra now have to worry about that extra member. And then you have an AR set up like Brezzy, someone like Cobra who can even sit in close with a sub and watch the cross. It's so often the positioning for a Wobabobs does pay off in the early time on hard points. With 30 seconds to go, this is kind of a must-win here for Ultra. You have to commit a lot of resources to slow the bleeding. That glide bomb will not connect for anything, but even with that, no zoning happening, all 3 dead. You got Beans, the only one really pushed up in a position to contest. He will fall. 15 seconds to go. This game being put out of reach. A Wobabobs not slowing down anytime soon.
Yep, no, they're not indeed. And I mean, we're already on the rotation. You see Chaks are taking the long way around. He's going to try to get set up into fire, because we know, of course, this is like one of the power positions that need to be held for this hill. And already wrapping around, you see they have a good collapse onto this point. So winning the gunfights in the front and the back, Cobra and Chaks, like the duo, literally, once these guys get going, like there's no stopping this team, I feel like. But Bressi wins a huge gunfight onto Furious, and that is it. Strappy, it remains for this hill.
Wow.
And Steve-O's last alive here, basically up top, wins a huge gunfight, and that's really the play. Just keep him off the hill for now. Stop the bleeding just for a little bit, and maybe you can start thinking about that rotation, but still only 15 seconds, about 16 seconds left until Wobabobs win. This is going to be basically put Ultra Academy on the back burner here. They got to play fast, and they have to play perfect hardpoint from here on out.
It's not often you see Furious struggling to drop 20. You got Beans barely breaking 25. I mean, these are some of the better players in Europe, I would say the world. Like, we've seen what they can do, especially on land. And again, granted and credit to Wobabobs for how they've approached this. Positioning has been elite. They have countered almost everything that Ultra have thrown at them, and the break game has been ridiculous. Wobabobs have been so good at getting in and denying the setups from Ultra. Now it comes down to, like you said, perfect hard point. Weeman needs to play his life, but Brezzy working on Furious to the back. Finally, Steve-O comes in. He's able to connect for 1. Potential hold here for Ultra. They will do so. And if you are a Woba, maybe send 1 or 2 more members, a solid push through, but you don't want to overcommit yourself and lose the rotation towards our next hill. We are entering towards P2 territory at this moment in time. It is 30 seconds, but you would still hold the lead. You might want to give up on this time.
Yeah, but beautiful awareness from Wee Man and Beans, of course, to acknowledge the spawn flip here, as they do hold some good time. And this Ultra Academy squad, kind of like similar to the NA squad, like once they get going, like it's like they're firing on all cylinders. And I mean, they can still potentially bring this back. It's going to be very close, but still on the rotation, you see Furious is there. But the problem is, of course, Awobabobs do have that street side control, as Abusa is still alive there. And of course, although a huge gunfight went on to Jax, there you go. Beans has to move fast. That's still in the back, Abusa, who can disrupt the spawns. And I don't think he knows this, but he stays alive, of course. All members of Awobabobs just controlling that street side and making it very mixy and very hard for Ultra Academy to secure it here.
Yeah, Abusa's got to stay alive. Like, he is the key for this hill. If they want any chance to contest or break, he's got to stay alive. It was a sub who pushed in, but the response from Cobra has just been so damn good. There's the pressure through the window. Still alive. Chax for 2, Abusa for the 3rd, and that's going to be game 1. 250 to God knows what. Awobabobs get it done. 208 for Ultra Academy, but man, the break game was perfect. Abusa does his job in the end, stays alive long enough to get reinforcements, and yet again, Ultra Academy EU drop an opening Berlin Hardpoint. That has been the story for them, but credit to Awobabobs. They get it done, Ellen.
I mean, I don't know if I kind of lost you there, Spaceman. I can't hear you, but you know what? Maybe it's me, maybe it's not.
Game 1 went down because, well, it started off with Ultra Academy having pretty good status, but Awobabobs did a relatively good job of at least what we talked about in the pregame, skating with Ultra, finding a way just to stay involved in the action, whether it's talking about breaking the early holds, whether it's talking about those transitional gunfights. Abusa had a masterful game, and I think that he really was kind of the catalyst, especially down the stretch, Ellen, where he was able to step up, play his life appropriately, and not give too much away. It helped the team win.
Yes, indeed it did. I mean, like, and that's kind of what the Cobra brings to the table, right? Like, he's just that player that really is good at slipping behind enemy lines, getting good picks on rotations and holding. And of course, I mean, you have Bressi and Abusa on the long rotations winning those gunfights. I mean, all across the board, they started off really strong. And usually if you do that, that usually sets the pace for the hardpoint, right? Like, if you win those first 2 hills, like, that really can set the pace for the game. And off the break, Awobabobs did just that. And
set the pace.
I'm back. I'm back. I don't know what happened there. I don't know what happened there. Like, you just cut out. You left me.
Honestly, I thought I was like, oh, I'm making a point, and then you just stared at me. I'm like, maybe I didn't make that good of a point that I thought I did. Okay, I'm like, gosh. Well, I didn't.
I didn't want to have another like Bryce and Tun moment where they were like talking and like you could just hear them like talking over each other. I was like, oh my god, is that happening? I just wanted to stop talking.
I've seen it before where I've said,
you know, it happens.
And, Bryce just stares at me. And I'm like, maybe I'm not that smart. Anyway, it was 23-24 performance from Brezzy. Abusa leads the lobby at 33 kills. You had Chax right behind at 31, a big 2-piece to clear out the final P2 on our 3rd rotation that did secure the game. But I think the big thing to look at, 25 untraded kills and 22 Abusa and Cobra. That's tough because there was constantly moments in that opening hardpoint where you had a player kind of zoned off on an island, and when you pulled attention away from Ultra, once they went to challenge, they were immediately taken down towards mid-map by another member of Awobabobs. And that was the takeaway for me, was there was always someone in position to get a trade, and that's so tough to counter against when things just aren't going your way. But for Ultra, pretty good performance, 13-30 from Beans. It just seemed like it got going a little too late.
Yeah, no, I agree. And of course, you have those players that are taking the longer ways around the map. Like, it shows how beneficial that is. And you need a player to do that dirty work. But also, too, of course, from Ultra Academy, like, they're still getting adjusted to just playing with Wee Man. They did lose Gizmo. So it takes a little, sometimes those takes a little bit of time, once they start getting that establishment of what they want to do and getting used to it. That's why we're in group play. They still have time to get it together. At the end of the day, this Awobabob squad, though, you can't count out the veterans that you got on the squad. I mean, Bressi, we just know, like, what he did with that Texas Nation squad. Like, it was just completely dominant and comes back and then wins ACCL, too, as well. So this team is just, they got really good players that just formulated together, and they played really well. Yeah, the trades and doing the dirty work.
This team could be, I hate the word shocker because it somehow discredits the talent of the roster, and that's not what it's supposed to do. But in terms of the established quote-unquote legacies and lores of European Call of Duty for at least the Challengers Elite of this season, this team could be a shocker. They could be the ones to kind of dethrone the Ultra EUs of the world, the Rockers of the world, and find a way to get in that top 2 conversation. They have what it takes. They have that firepower, no pun intended. Here's game 1. Game 2 coming up. It will be Berlin S&D, followed by Control on the same map. If needed, Vutu, and Tuscan will round out the end of the series. However, so far so good, and it seems as if for Abuza and Brezzy, how far this team goes is how far they will carry. And so far it has been them. It has been them putting on the skates and absolutely smoking their way through their opening hills. But when we go to S&D, things are very different. We know it's a typical 3AR setup for Ultra Academy EU. Should that continue on, how will they respond in Game 2, Ellen?
Yeah, and I mean, just from, I guess, we're at that point, of course, where everybody's kind of, getting used to the map pools. They should be essentially at this point be good at every map, right? But just from what we have, Ultra Academy played this yesterday, or well, technically today, should have been yesterday, versus AOAM, and they took it, I believe. Or no, and previously, actually, last stage, they took the Berlin S&D 6-3. So like, I mean, they have experience on this map. Obviously, we're going to be looking towards those, those opening engagements, those first bloods, which of course are important. Usually, first bloods win you the search and destroy. But I'm really going to be looking at those first bloods from, of course, from Beans. Yeah. Maybe those longer ranges of sight, and hopefully maybe get some snipes in the mix. But going into this, they haven't really been too successful though with Berlin as a whole, like so far, just from this stage. So gonna be interesting to see just from both sides, just because, well, you don't want to play a Wobabobs on Tuscan S&D, that's for sure. So this is like their best bet.
Well, I mean, map wise, they're 6-1 currently. They're 2-0 so far to start off the last season, so that's pretty good. So that makes them 7-1 map count. Also, quick note, I got a ping which told me that COD Champs has been announced. It will be in Cali August 4th through 7th, so keep an eye on the Call of Duty League Twitter to get an idea of when potential tickets might go up. Exciting stuff for the Call of Duty League. We love that we're going back to Cali. It's so good. But yeah, COD Champs coming around the corner, and I think that also kind of puts a highlight on how this season might round out, because it's not just about that Boston's coming up for our Elite Series players, for our Challengers family, but also because we are making that final run to champs. And if there's one thing that Call of Duty history tells us, is that it's not that you play your best Call of Duty near the end of the year, it's that you play your most, mistake-free Call of Duty. And that's really where the best teams shine. So if you got teams that are, sure, maybe not shooting the best or not having the best strats, but if you're playing the most mistake-free Call of Duty, you're probably going to have a good end of the year, and that's what we're looking for. We're just looking for teams to put it all together.
Mistake-free Call of Duty. I like that. And honestly, I thought Champs was going to be in Vegas low-key, but still, I'm still excited for Cali. It sounds awesome. But yes, hopefully, though, this time around, I know that on the European side, at least for the Toronto event, I don't think any players broke T8. So it's like, I hope we see some dominance, maybe some crazy stuff happening at Boston. But regardless, here in this matchup, excited for it to jump in. I think we're just waiting a second here. The lobby should be starting in just a moment, but Spaceman, any predictions?
I mean, when we were going through the matchups, at least, I thought that Ultra would bounce back from their struggles and their woes on Berlin. I thought they would win the opening hardpoint. Yeah. I thought the series might go 3-1 Ultra, just with the power of this team, what they're able to do. But how Wobabobs have played, they look so clean, and it's not to hit on my own note, but they look like they're playing mistake-free so far. They had an answer for everything in the hardpoint. Going into the S&D, it's very different. We understand that. But the momentum as of now, a 7-1 map record, standing atop the standings, I think a Wobabobs might have a real good chance of winning this Berlin. I'm going to say 6-4. I think it's going to be close, but I think Wobabobs have just had Ultra's number so far.
Okay.
Then again, predictions and Vanguard, they never go together. So
they never do. Yeah, I mean, it is a coin flip. I mean, this game has been, like, I think this is the year that I've seen the most reverse sweeps, like, ever. I feel like.
It does not surprise me at all.
So many reverse sweeps, because, yeah, it can be a coin flip sometimes, or just down to that single one gunfight, But as we go into this, of course, just with what Wobabobs was really good at doing the first map was, sneaking through the map and getting behind enemy lines and cutting down those ARs. That would be essentially like one of the strategies. Is just like, because we know that Toronto Ultra EU, like, they have more of an AR dominant presence, I would say, because obviously we know, like, Vortex, he's literally been dominating challengers for years, like just for years, dominating, period. Such a good player, and just the sub in hand, he's gonna be, I feel like there's more pressure on him. But for Wobabobs, they have to be careful of these members sneaking through these lanes.
I've seen thousands and thousands of names and logos in all my years of doing COD, and sometimes there are names that just stick out. Awoba Bobs is one of them.
The best
I
one.
think it's great. It is like the least juvenile, but also the most interesting I think I've seen in like a couple years. So I appreciate the players for giving us something just fun and unique and weird. So far, though, Ultra will get the bomb down unscathed. No members dropping as of now. Shots do ring out, and Furious in a very precarious spot will have to wait for his chance as Cobra looks for the opening pick, but nothing falling.
Yeah, and this was an interesting retake from Awoba Bobs, but you saw Cobra trying to pre-fire through that bomb site, and Furious was still able to get it off, but Bressy with the first blood there does enable a kill, and Chaxter makes the flank wrap around and on. Stevo gets at least one. Can he get the second? He doesn't. So now left alive, it's Beans with the 1v2. 15 seconds left though to defuse. All he really has to do is play his life, and he might actually get the kill, but no, Cobra's sticking the defuse, and Beans, he has to go and check this. He doesn't have that much time. I think he's got this here, but he does not. He doesn't.
Yeah, he's got the kill. He's gone. He's fine.
Yes, I thought you meant he's got the defuse.
Oh,
I was like,
no.
wait, no, I was talking about the defuse.
He's got the kill. There's no worries.
He's got it.
That is a unwinnable situation really for Cobra unless he chases. Even then, he's probably going to get gunned. So he sticks the defuse. Smart play all around. Better plays from Ultra. That's welcome to round one. So that's how it works out. So far, so good. Ultra getting on the board. 2-0 for Beans. On the other side, he got 2 kills for Chax. Everyone else somewhat struggling, but it's only one round, dude. Like, we can't throw too much shade, so we won't. Let's go into round 2.
Yeah, and that could have been huge for Chax too, because he made that flank all the way around. He caught a member in the back, and then of course, huge gunfight from Stevo. So if Stevo didn't win that round would have went very, very differently. But already you see the bomb here, kind of just waiting patiently, and that's a huge one from Bressy onto Weeman. So now opening up the map here, you're gonna see that bomb rotate quickly over to A, and let's see if Ultra Academy pick up on this. They only have one player over there, and that's Beans.
That's just good planning all around from Awoba early on, especially knowing that on defense, Weeman loves to go towards that third tower and get up in the window. That's good planning, good execution. We've talked about it before. How do you execute down the stretch? So far, so good. Bomb should be making its way towards A. Cobra has been spotted, but just can't get a clean look from Beans. He is worried about the pinch. However, can Beans read this potential push? Oh, he gets one. He will escape with his life. Util out. It won't connect. Numbers here for both sides.
They have time here, but that's a huge kill from Abusa. And of course, Beans streak. The man is 4-0 right now, but still 28 seconds left. And there's Bressy waiting for that flank from Stevo. So now Bean blasted a 1v2. He's really going to have to see if he can isolate a member, but of course, that's it. Woba Bobs take that quite comfortably there. And really, it's shout outs to, of course, Bressy just getting that first blood onto Weeman, just in allowing that, of course, to open up the map and rotate over. Ultra Academy, of course, they stacked 2 members over at that A site. So realistically, it was only Beans left at A. And still, they were able to read that, quickly get the kill over at B, rotate over, and then so really all you need to do is just maybe wait back and wait for the rotation, the flank around. And that's what happened with Stevo. He got caught, but still on the offensive side, you're going to see a quick plant rush over to A.
You got Ultra taking an offensive round. You got Awoba taking a defensive one. Excuse me, an offensive one. And the interesting thing, really, so that nade will connect for the first blood, is that you don't work anymore towards the glide bomb. So that kill on Beans is not just big for the round one, but it's big because you don't get the S&D dictated to you in rounds 3, 4, and 5 anymore, should he have earned it. We'll see how things play out, though. Numbers advantage for Ultra. Just play the ratio game. You should be able to walk away with it. I don't think he spotted Cobra on the other side. He did not. Regardless, it's 3v1. Can Cobra work with the automaton in hand? He does have range to his advantage, but with only 22 seconds, it will be tough. He might just elect to jump off.
Yeah, he's going to jump
Dashy!
off. No, don't say it. Not the splashy. But no, and that was tough too. Cobra did sneak through, but of course Beans waiting there in the top mail there. That was just smart place from him, just to kind of hang back while all of his teammates were on the A site, just bunkered in. So good flank there from Cobra, but still Beans very smart to be aware of that. And now this is an interesting play. You got the bomb going towards A, and then members of Awoba Bobs nading, throwing those utilities over at B. Could be a diversion there, but a huge kill from Abusa. Drops the first blood yet again.
Spawn peaks are very, very frustrating. If you walk away with a kill, you're very happy, obviously, but sometimes it just does not go your way. Abusa will hit towards the back of the track, so he should be able to catch Stevo if Stevo overexerts himself, but Weeman working down towards the steps. We'll see how the defuse potentially comes through. What will the retake look like right now as Ultra try to get into position to help? Abusa shutting it down. 29 seconds to go. Not a lot of time. Furious does get caught, but that's a bit of an over challenge there from Abusa. Luckily, once again, teammate support in. 3v1. Weeman last alive. Weeman no longer. Awubas take the next round. Tied up.
Awubas. Awobabobs. Awobabobs.
I don't think people realize how hard it is to say Awobabobs.
I love it.
Very
I love
fast.
it. I was going to say for that round, though, you know, what was interesting about that post-plant setup is that could have been really dangerous there because Weeman was able to slip through the stairs and through P3 side. So with them leaving that open, yes, they planted it for train side. They stacked members in the back. But if Ultra Academy were able to at least get maybe one or even like just one kill back there, that could have been a very different play because Weeman snuck through. He was able to get a pick, but of course he was the last alive there through that flank. But still, that was very, very good awareness, of course, from Awobabobs just to set up and fake out the plant. Pressy already with the first blood. The bomb is down for Ultra Academy, swinging it over towards that B side, and now it's a 3 versus 2 for Ultra. And Beans tagged up Pressy, but Pressy stunned, manages to get away. They got that bomb down, but they still have 58 seconds left to work with.
Yeah, there's a bit of time, but the big question is if you're Ultra, like, how do you get behind Cobra? Oh, I mean, Weeman put very good shots, but it just did not connect. You got a 2v3. You are somewhat split. The problem is that the positioning from Awolobob should make this round almost impossible. The amount of angles you have to check is nearly infinite. And now Weeman is last alive yet again in a 3v1. Play time here, you win this round.
I was gonna say they literally had a triangle on the map, like just securing that bomb site. But 20 seconds left. I mean, Weeman's in a predicament. Yeah, he's got to hurry up. He doesn't even know if the player is in there or not. Like, just scared he's gonna get pinched. But smart plays again from Awobabobs, and that just defensive play was just beautiful. Really, hit the bomb down already, and of course, it's just really credits to those first bloods. Like they're just finding these opening picks, and like you said, Spaceman, how do you get behind Cobra? Because he's just like, they just keep sneaking through or just essentially, again, pressing.
Yeah. It's going to be difficult on offense to set up anything, especially mid-round when you lose a number early on. So you're playing it through before, you lose a lot of positioning. There's not much you can do when it comes to getting creative because you have to worry about being a man down. So far, though, great response by Ultra onto the point, but it's Chax who rushes into the site. He's able to find one. The trades there. Good shots from Stevo, but he will fall in the process. Regardless, another advantage for Awobabobs. 3v2 Ultra. Weeman and Furious, the only ones alive. Good shot from Weeman. Stay alive. 2v1.
Yeah, and Abusa, of course, is just, they always have a player at least sitting back waiting for that long flank rotation. So very smart plays from them. And Weeman, okay, this guy shooting with the pistol, but still, he gets the huge 1-1 on Bressy. So now Abusa last alive. Problem is, Weeman still has to plant.
Now he knows bomb's down. Awoba, we're in a chance to rotate that bomb over to B, but as soon as he picks up the kill on Brezzy, he can just play time here. Abusa has to make the play. He has to get over towards the bomb. Regardless if he runs into Weeman, this could be a different round. 28 seconds to go. Here comes the push. Weeman just holding a corner.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, you just wait. You play for retake, but...
Yep. Oh, COD timing. Please don't do it. Please don't do a COD timing. Oh, man. I'm so sick of this 10-year cycle of COD timing. Awobabobs get the 1v1.
Oh, man, that was close. That would have been a beautiful plays from Weeman, because I think he would have had, what 3 that round? Would that have been an ace? I think, regardless, but that was so smart from him, because he essentially, instead of going around and playing with Abusa in the back there, he just decided to cut right through the middle of the map. He popped that dead silence. He was able to get, 2, almost the clutch there, but still, that was very, very close. Very nice tries from Weeman, but let's see now on the attacking side. Where are they going to decide to bring this bomb? You see the 2-2 defense setup from Awobabobs. And again, this time now, it's Ultra Academy opening up with the first blood. Weeman. Of course, that bomb's going to linger around. Still not going for a plant yet.
Fury's taking a play out of Weeman's book. He will have bomb. I mean, you do have a free plant currently on B. The longer you wait, the more difficult it will be. Chax loses the gunfights. Now it's completely open. Things work out sometimes. Here comes the plant, potentially, maybe not. Oh, trying to bait a gunfight. I like what I'm seeing, but it is a 4v1. And I think in this situation, we are still working towards getting Dead Silence back, regardless, though. For everyone else, I mean, yeah, get the plant down, just force the round to end as quickly as it starts. Abuser, nowhere to go. Nothing really to do. So, Ellen, how's your day going? How's the weather over there?
It's it's been pretty hot, about 100 here, 90 to 100.
There's been a heat wave in Texas, hasn't it? Yeah.
Yes, there has. But I was gonna say, Wee Man with that bait onto the bomb there, it's like because Abuse is always lingering back here, and I think he was just scared that essentially he was gonna get shot before he planted. But Abuser here, he's not gonna fall off the map, of course, because he is on a 5 streak. So a couple more kills there, and at least he'll get a streak. Oh. Doesn't want to give the kill either
I've seen
way.
That
but
far too often. It just it scares me every time. But you're right. On a 5 spree, you want to keep it going, getting close to the glide bomb. How that could end things in this game. Should they use it towards the end if he earns? Regardless, though, it's a good round by Ultra. They keep all their numbers alive as well, which is also something we should hit on. They don't drop any numbers. Don't know if anybody's currently working on streaks or in the vicinity, but regardless, keeping numbers up just means that, hey, the round worked to your advantage, and you didn't get picked early on, which is big. So far, it's a relatively slow game from Furious, but picking up the slack is Wee Man and Beans on the other side. Good performance all around from a Wobba-Bobs. Everybody else getting involved. It will be Chax who carries the bomb early on. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, and they have this tendency to do a lot of these fakies. So you get the cross call from Abuser that there's members going to A. And of course, this time around Ultra Academy, they stack members at A. But look at Furious. He actually was able to get through right the middle, and he gets the first blood onto Bressy. So he's going to back on down, which is very smart, of course. But maybe a second he does onto Cobras. They don't expect this, but Furious just decides, you know what? I'm sick of this passive play. Let's just cut right down through the middle, and it worked out for them. Now Chax is last alive. He gets naded, maybe naded himself. Ultra Academy, fast electric round, and that's a good way to do it. Furious cutting right through the middle, able to get that first pick, really set the pace.
That's one of those most efficient rounds I've ever seen from a player. Furious just takes out 3, gets the bounce on the nade. Like, okay, if that's how we're playing. We just talked about having a slow game. All of a sudden, 4 and 5 on a 3 spree. So you cut down the streak from Abuser. You give half of a streak over to Furious, and certainly this could become an interesting game too. 4-4 all tied up into round number 9. My goodness.
I think Chaxer blew himself up because he was 4 and 6 before. So I was like, I think Furious threw it, but I feel like he did it. But regardless, Cobra, okay. Cobra, 2 huge kills from Fire. Running through that secret side is, well, that may be the round, but we'll see what we can do. Wee Man, you know how many situations he's closed up. He's got that bomb over by A, but still, Chaxer's just laying down waiting in office. He's still got a little bit of time, but this play here, of course, is just to find a pick. Beans may be the one to do it mid-map, shooting around, but still, there he is.
Other than Brezzy, there's like no need to move out of your spot. If you are getting tagged, obviously you fall back, but Brezzy can just be a walking turret. He can find players rotating through mid-map, like he just did. For everyone else, you just hold your position. Wee Man doesn't know that Chax is right around the corner. Now he does, and he loses the gunfight. So that's patience from Chax that pays off in the end. Wee Man did his job to get over towards the site, but there was just too many numbers to handle. Wobba-Bobs, yet again, their positioning comes through. 5-4 currently, 1 round away from going up 2-0 in the series.
So if they do actually win the 6-4, does that mean you are like Caster Curse?
I'm a genius.
Okay.
Sometimes
it's not the Caster. I thought it was the Caster Curse right there. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just, wow.
Wait, is it a Caster Curse if I get it right?
I don't know. Is it? But I mean,
no,
like, I guess
me,
it would
yes,
be.
It would be.
Yeah. Knowing us, it's just, that's what happens.
Show the strength of Wobba-Bobs, how good they've played, not only in this series so far in the start of Season 4, but this team just has it all together. We'll see if they can put it through for one final round. As Wee Man tagged up yet again. He's peeked that side before. He does get a little bit of taste of his own medicine. 7 and 6 for him. Same with Brezzy. So far, no one falling. Full strength for both teams. A minute to go here in round number 10. Could this push open it up?
And this is interesting from a Wobba-Bobs. They have players pushing forward, and the bomb is still back train. So really, they have players zoning forward to see if they can find this pick. Beans may stop this one from Bessie.
Yeah, he's going to stop.
Has to hear that utility, but if they can at least abuse the bait and trade there from Bressy to Abuso was huge, but Steve-O stops it with a huge 2, but still last alive. or here at the site, Wee Man gets taken down by Jackster. And the question is, though, is the bomb going to get planted here? Yes.
Ooh. Furious won't get there in time to check, but he could get there in time to get one escaping from the site. The exit point right now could be locked off if Furious just gets one clean peek, and he does on Cobra. So he knows that they're pushed towards the back. The resources have to be back there as well, where the bomb is currently planted. And Furious, with bait on the door, you just play numbers here for Wubba Bobs. You just try to zone him out and play time. You just need one solid look over towards the site. Furious trying to stay alive and find the angle on Cobra. He gets a couple of tags, not enough for the kill. He will fall. Wubba Bobs take game 2. Good positioning all around. 6-4. They go up 2-0 in the series.
Yeah, you are a genius there, Spaceman. And it looks like
Sometimes
just from a Wubba Bobs, they are just really good at like you said, trading, getting in those positions. And really, for the first couple of rounds, they were faking out their opponents. Like, they would get a kill over at B, and then they would swing that bomb over at A. And of course, Abusa. I mean, First Bloods from Abusa and Bressy, like, they've just AR dominance across the board. They have been like the ultimate AR duo. And of course, Cobra flexing, doing what Cobra does, sneaking through. It's really been working out for this squad, and they've been dominating.
I mean, that last round is indicative of just the forethought that went into a lot of those setups. You have bomb planted back over, towards the steps, so that way you just have eyes over at all times. Furious picks that up, he knows, but in the end, just with no idea where these players are. It's very difficult to either choose whether you're going to stick it, whether you're going to attempt to kill. You have no idea where you're supposed to be going. That's the beauty of S&D. And so far, it's just been the Wubba Bobs show. They have got it done. 7 kills for everybody. The lucky 7s getting the game 2 victory.
Yeah, lucky 7s, and of course 7 First Bloods for Wubba Bobs, and to the 3 of Ultra Academy. 6 non-traded kills for both Cobra and Bressy too. So, I mean, they're winning their ones. At the end of the day, First Bloods, that's obviously key to set the pace of the round, but it just seemed like Ultra Academy, Furious did have that one round where he clutched up, he pushed right through the middle of the map. Maybe that's where Ultra Academy is lacking just a little bit with Steve-O needs a little bit more of that pressure, a little bit more of that aggression with him. So we'll see if they can bounce back from this one, because it's not like we haven't seen Ultra Academy do that before. So I'm excited.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to see how this control goes. However, we will have to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, the continuation and conclusion, potentially, of this first series of the Elite. You don't want to miss it. See you guys in a minute. Welcome back to the Call of Duty Challenger Elite, the final season. So far, we have gotten about 2/3 of the way, potentially, what could be another 3-game series of our way through the Ultra Academy versus Awobabob's first series of the day. It's been an interesting one, right? Awobabob's coming out hot, taking game 1, taking game 2. They're now 1 win away from 3-0ing Ultra Academy and starting off season 4 3-0 in the standings, which is just mind-blowing, Ellen. Nuts.
Yeah. I think it's great. I mean, you look at the members of Awobabob's, and I mean, even Chaxter, right? He was on that Revenge Tour squad, stage 2, and didn't necessarily have the best, dominating performance, but just coming off of stage 4, just coming out hot, like he's been doing really good. So this squad, it's just been really cool to see. But as we go into this Berlin control, man, Berlin has been. They've been decent on Berlin. Like I said, we don't want to play this squad on Tuscan because of that sub-aggression that we get from both Cobra and Chaxter. But going into this control in Berlin, I mean, it just seems like the ARs even all around, like they just look good. you know, how do you cut them down here in this control? It just realistically, Ultra need to find a way, I guess, to just stop those long routes, those flanks from Cobra and Chaxter just getting behind them. But the coordination from this squad is really, really good right now from Awobabob's. But going into this Ultra Academy, I mean, they're the squad that sometimes they need to take a minute to just heat up, see if they can bring it back here.
You know what Ultra needs, Ellen? You know what they need?
What?
You don't know. If you know what I'm about to say, I'll be so happy. They need that energy. I need that. Oh my goodness. Maybe they have it. We'll see if it works out because this team can absolutely bounce back. We've seen it before. Do not count them out ever because they will burn you and they'll do it quickly. But so far, pretty good. Awobabob starting off on the attacking side, 28-26. Not a huge disparity, but so far working on that progress at B. It doesn't look like Ultra is going to commit any resources over towards the contest, so this could be a free early 2 ticks if they are lucky enough, and it should be, as Ultra more than happy to post up at A.
I'm just so confused though. I mean, like yes, there's 3 members over there, but why? Like, I mean, it was only essentially a half a tick. They still could have contested that, but I guess not really wanting to give away too many lives, just a passive play to play towards A. But still, you got members to worry about going on the long flank, and Abusa, I mean, he's already kind of setting up to do that, waiting for his teammates to capture this. I guess the play is going to be to collapse on it. They could just push through that street side, that fire side, and go all the way around, but Ultra Academy deciding to give up that P3 hold, they're pushing forward and zoning forward train to essentially make Awobabob's spawn on that riverside. But this is a very slow, interesting game of control. 2 minutes left to cap. We'll see if they can hold. Ultra Academy. Stevo does fall.
I'm going to say it's because there's no trophies, and they're going to nade the hell out of A if they get in trouble. So that's where my strat's coming in. I think Ultra absolutely know what they're doing, but it certainly is interesting, right? Like, okay, nobody's going to contest B early on. We're barely going to lose lives. So in that respect, you do hold on to your resources, at least from the life count. But also, there's a lot of time on the clock for Awobabobs to make a play. And so far, they've been finding the kills to funnel through. As it looks like only one around. Cobra moving into position. Will win the fight on Wee Man. And there's the break. Awobabobs do get into A. And they're working on the first bit of aggression.
Ooh, that would have been a huge kill from Cobra right there. But Abuser to follow is last alive. But they have to worry about Jax again on the quick flank. He might be able to get 3. But no, he does fall, and that's essentially the play there. Awobabob's almost...
Yes, you have the lives for Awoba, but there's only 35 seconds, so Ultra could absolutely win this round. They just need to hold on for 1 push. And unfortunately, with that extra challenge, Brezzy does take down Steve, working through the back quietly. It's Beans to find 1. Abusa coming up for the chow. All purple in the kill feed. Ultra finding the kills, but Abusa will cut it down. Where are the numbers around? The sub taking care of it all. 17 seconds to go. And Ultra in a good position right now. Look at the minimap. It's a 4-man spread, but it's also confined. They have numbers around for a trade. You got Beans working through pillars. This is a good spot to be in. You're winning gunfights. You're trusting each other. No one's dropping too quickly. That's a round for Ultra. They absolutely knew what they were doing. They get it done, and they take the opening round.
Yeah, and just even the credits to just giving Awobabob's that, you know, the site over at B, like they let them capture the mail over there, and then they just essentially pushed forward and stacked train stations. So yeah, just with the lives being in their favor and making Awobabob's take longer essentially to slay them out, it just wasn't enough time. But could have Awobabob's got that done if they had the time, potentially, because of course they were getting the kills. But either way, very huge round to win. Of course, you want to win your defenses. Attacking, it's more important. You don't want to give ticks away, so we'll see if Ultra Academy can answer back and at least capture and get some ticks here. Fights do go down in mailroom, though, and there's still 3 members there. Looks like Ultra Academy is going to have control over that B point. We'll see if they can get it.
Cheeky little spot. So far, so good, though, on B. A bit more contest from Awoba. They're not going to let this one go for free. You do have Brezzy working in the vicinity, and here come some pushes as nades fly out. One in, Shaq's gone. Another, Brezzy gone. Beans doing a very nice job of finding two. All the momentum cut for Awoba, and Ultra have their first capture on the board. Put another minute on the clock. You're going to have 2:15. That's a lot of time. All even in the kill feed. 24-24. This one's going to go down to the wire.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you see Cobra in the back. Stevo is going to have to get this important kill onto him as he's been disrupting the spawns and making them spawn over in that far warehouse side. But look at Chaxtra behind enemy lines yet again. I think Furious may had spotted this, but no, he does turn, and Chax might get timing, but he loses the gunfight. So now through the front pushes we go, is still Bressy's holding on through the mid-map and getting important kills here on the A site. Cobra does win a huge one against Furious, make that 2, and still in favor of Awobabobs. They're doing a great job at holding lives again in their favor. We'll see if Stevo can do some damage through the mid-map and get that fire control to essentially trap them back B3, but still, slaying power right now still going in favor of Awobabobs as they continue to hold.
Cobra
on a 5 straight, too.
And you want to keep him alive as well, because if he gets a glide, what that would do for opening up B for later rounds is huge. Brezzy flying through, just cutting down players quickly. And this is interesting, right? Because it's not just about, yes, there's been responses from Ultra, but it's the flurry of kills, that Awoba are getting. It's constant 2-pieces that break these first pushes. Ultra don't have resources there to at least respond. I mean, they're constantly getting 2-piece in and around the point. Shax is flying, and that's what's interesting. The ratio of kills for Awobabobs is far too fast. Ultra have to find a response. It's 13-9. Sure, they have plenty of time to make this work, but they're losing numbers way too quickly, way too often.
Yep, I mean, and like you said, just the fact that Chax keeps getting behind them time and time and again, he is slaying them out. And although like he does get cut down, he still gets a 2-piece. And
2-piece.
So does Bressy. So yeah, only 5 lives remaining. They only have really 1 shot at pushing this here. And I mean, Furious, he's the one that's taking the long route. He would be the one maybe to make a play happen. But you see all members of Awobabobs are just pushed forward. Cobra slaying out in the front. Furious says, I gotta go, and he's gotta go fast. But the kills to be won. Again.
Wow.
Gotta cut him down.
Yeah, in crunch time, gunfights went the way of Awoba. They were winning them at range, up close, 2 pieces left and right. That's the interesting thing, right? Like, they had the lives last round. They couldn't get the break on Ultra. Ultra's holds, especially in controls, are some of the best. But when it came down to winning big gunfights, Awoba stepped up yet again. They do it on the Hardpoint. They do it in the S&D. They're doing it so far in this control. Ultra just got to take it a round at a time. Maybe it does come through a couple of swing of kills, but so far, it really feels like the pace of the game has been dictated in both rounds by Awoba. And they continue at 17-12 early on in 2 rounds by Brezzy. You got 20-11 on the other side for Beans. I mean, he has always been an X factor, a lights-out performer. But it's just consistency, I think, is the key for me. The consistency from all 4 players on Awoba right now is just a lot to handle.
Yeah, I mean, and again, it just doesn't help when you got Cobra just getting 2 opening kills like that. And again, they're just, like you said, the consistency factor. But Beans here, he's on the flank. He might be able to disrupt and do some damage, but he gets taken out with teammate from Stevo. So although he does get 1 member, still, it's 2 ticks, it looks like, here for Awobabobs at A. And of course, simultaneously capturing over at B. You got Bressy already on inside Mailroom, getting set up at least for another tick over here.
Now we're going to split a little. I like this call from Awoba, and Ultra did a very good job of getting the retake over towards A and at least stopping the final capture. But this is where we talk about crunch time kills and whether or not you get those big 2 pieces that sort of swing things back in your favor. As B's being worked on, you essentially expect this to go the way of Awoba, but look at Cobra staying alive and Abuser working in the kill feed. These are the kinds of kills that make it so much more difficult for Ultra to get a solid hold on this round. Chax working right through pillars, finds one, turns around, avoids gunfire, still alive somehow, will time it perfectly on the burn and slides in uncontested. The fact that he's still alive and getting time, it's huge. It's so understated, and my goodness, Awoba are just walking their way through this control.
Yeah, and I mean, of course, Bressi, he had two there with him because Bressi came through fire, and essentially he was watching those members of Ultra Academy, you know, in the spawn. So again, you have them just kind of getting through enemy lines and cutting the spawns in half. But either which way, huge gunfight to be won from Steve over by Mailroom. At least allows control over that mid-map area, but still. Coming through the train station, Awobabobs are pushing through. And again, it's just they have a minute and 40 seconds to left to capture this, and they really only need to get one tick. So they have a lot of time to work with. Ultra Academy realistically just have to get some type of map control and not allow members to slip through. Beans does take down Chaxter, and Furious gets away with his life at train. He's gonna back on down, and again, just reposition, regroup. Got a minute, 15 seconds left to work with.
The struggles of that earlier round come back yet again. You have numbers, but how do you get the break onto A? Ultra's defense holding him in this game, holding him in this round. 11 and 18 for Furious, but he's come up with some big kills, and Beans could play spoiler through the back. He could find a kill or two, and man, what this would do, the patience. There's one, there's two, maybe three. Up the stairs, goodbye. Steve-O and Furious get the wipe. Yet again, Ultra's defense come up big, and they have the positioning to get them through this round.
And that's what they need. They need players doing that because Awobabobs keeps doing it. So Beans really quickly with that flank, able to cut him down. That essentially was the game-winning play right there. But now it's still just a tick left. Bressi is on that long routed flank, and still members pushing up that street side, but still got a little bit of time to work with. He recognizes that there is a member that spawns up. Beans is going to be checking his back and waiting here, but will he spot him in this corner? Huge one to win, and the gunfight's one in the front there. Last alive, it is Steve-O on the point. He manages to get one, but Cobra cuts him down. 18 seconds left. Can they capture it here? The tick is going on fast. Ultra Academy have to fly on through, and they actually save it. Bean saved it for just a second. It is still being contested, but Abusa with the save. Awobabobs take the attacking round and now go up 2-1.
They really had to fight for that one, and credit to Ultra all the way for ridiculously good defense, for being able to play off numbers and continue to have someone inside the hill to contest, to constantly get people in and around the point to win those trades. But all it took was one push from Awobo. They finally got that breakthrough pillars that they had been working for 2 rounds. They finally got inside. I thought it was a bit of an interesting challenge from Brezzy. Just pops up with a headshot, but still, you get enough room. You're gonna make something work. It's a 2-1 lead now for Awobo, but Ultra could absolutely send this to a round 5. We've seen them do it on defense. Now they got to do it on the offensive side. We'll see how they swing things around. Brezzy at 20 and 17, going to work down through the stairs with a sub. He'll find one, looking for at least 2 more. And Beans gets cut from up top. Goodbye. There's the break. Maybe 4. The pistol's out, and he gets it. Abusa with the collat for 2. The assist is good. Oh my goodness.
What? What was that? It doesn't matter. Sub AR. This guy's cutting him down left and right, but my goodness. Couple captures still on to be. Ultra Academy at least have, but still cutting them down. It's Chaxter. He's going to try to make a play from up top. Now answering back. Furious heating up a little bit. The subs. Beans has a sub in his hand. Now you see a little bit of aggression coming through from Ultra Academy, but now at least they have B captured. Got some time to work with to capture A. It's really going to be about, again, getting behind enemy lines and maybe slowing it down a little bit here. They might need to do, but what an electric start there from Bressi that was.
Well, you have a glide bomb if you're Beans, so you could potentially, if you get too much pressure over towards pillars, you could use that to at least get info to help break and open the site. What do you do right now if you're Ultra? You can't work through the front. It hasn't worked. The ARs have not been able to find much. Great turn by Furious. Great call out as well to clean up that kill. Chax will cut it down. Here comes the glide bomb. So you know that 2 are at least towards front A. If you want to work up the steps with your sub, it would come up to Steve-O having to win a big gunfight. He will get cut down. What do Ultra do? They haven't had a lot of success going through the front.
It seems like they just want to attack this like full force through the front. Like they're not really sending any members all the way around, but they do win the kills here, which is very good. So now if the ARs can get set up and just hold the window positioning, but Cobra, of course, wins a huge gunfight onto Furious and leaves Steve-O last alive here with Beans. So really, Beans, if he can get these long-range gunfights and get set up, maybe here, Ultra Academy might be able to capture. It's just really right now, Spaceman, they have to win these gunfights.
Well, they've done it through the side. The subs have found that pressure. but up close, the ARs from Abusa, just too much to handle. He will slide in on a 3 spree. Needs to stay alive. He needs help from his teammates as well. I mean, these are tight angles you're going to have to work, especially with a sub. Knowing how dangerous this point could become. The slide out from Ultra. It's 3 in the kill feed, all purple for them. Abuse is the only one around. He just has to buy time. I mean, look at the spawn right now from Awobabobs. They have to hit the rotation so quickly. It's too much ground to cover, and they have to worry about getting cut down from mid-map. Beans could easily ruin this push. Through the back, it's Chax. Big kill inside.
Yep, and Beans still lasts alive here, though. Like you said, I think Chax does spot him, and there you go. No lives remaining for either squads now. And the good thing about this is Ultra Academy do have Furious all the way around that could potentially get a member in the back. Does get one, but he gets traded out by Abusa. Of course, Awobabob's in trading positions. That is a huge gunfight from Stevo, so now it's a 2 versus 2, 20 seconds left.
They win by Stevo. 2v1. If you're Ultra, you work together. There, it's going to get cut down. Nicely done. Have players in position. We talk about it all the time. Ultra, the numbers work out finally in their favor. And they send us to a round 5 in game 3. Quick update, by the way. Rocker just got 3-0'd by AYM. So, interesting. 250 to 218 in the game 1. A 6-5 loss in game 2 and a 3-2 loss in the control. So, Rocker getting swept early on here in day 2. Ultra Academy sending this one the distance into a round 5 on control. Trying to keep themselves alive in this series.
Well, you see the pretty much 4-man stack towards the B site, and it looks like Awobabobs might still decide to push this. You see Chax kind of flanking through the top, but Stevo waiting. And kind of a collapse here from Awobabobs as they have 2 members train side. Got Abusa all along that.
No.
Ooh, nice kill from Beans there to cut down the train kill from Bressie. So the rotations are starting to slowly come towards A. The B is captured from Ultra Academy, but now again, it's kind of the same situation that we had last round. Ultra have to figure out a way to capture A. Awobabobs have to learn how to, of course, to defend a little bit better this time, but will Ultra send some members all the way around? They have plenty of time to work with. And of course, Wee Man gets a huge 2 right here mid-map. See if they can break in.
Chax has not been playing good. Feeding kills every now and then. 19 and 34, but on the other side, 42 plus for Beans. He is just disgusting. Make it 43. Now inside, working on the glide, working on A. I mean, this game could be done. If no one gets into position to contest, Awobabobs have to get into the point. They finally do. There's the break. 2 members inside, 1 on the outskirts, and 1 through mid-map. It's Chaxter looking for extra numbers, but Ultra aren't worried about overextension. They're trying to bully their way inside like they just did. A team kill actually keeps them off the point, so that's unfavorable. Bressie, still alive inside, will earn dead silence. But if you're Chaxter, you can't worry about mid-map. You got to go help the rest of your team. Ultra bully their way inside.
Yeah, Chaxter again was trying to get set up in a position to flank, but still, yep, the front pushes are coming through for Ultra Academy, and again, they're just deciding to just head it on full force, and Furious gets a huge kill on Debusa, and Bressie's gonna look to stop here, but ultimately the gunfights are to be won for Ultra Academy, and the lives are dwindling away for Awobabobs. So now the clock is stopped, but still, 2 members left, make it 1 left alive, and Chax wins very, very key gunfight. But 2 ticks were captured at A, and now there's only 1 left. Minute and 25 left to do so. Stevo again pushing on that outer stairs here. He's going to have to wait for his teammates to get these gunfights in the front.
If Stevo doesn't break this, Wee Man will. It's a 1-2 punch. This should go to Ultra. Numbers alone, yeah, if Stevo doesn't break that, Wee Man will, and they both do their job. That's all 4 dead. That's going to be the round. That's going to be game number 3. This one was absolutely clinical in the end by Ultra Academy EU. They keep themselves alive in this series. Stevo, Wee Man doing a very nice job on the pinch in that final round. They win it 3-2, and they get us to a 2-1 series score.
And you know what's amazing that the fact that they won that is they did it on 2 attacking rounds, because we know in Control how hard it is to win an attacking round, but the fact that they did that, they just decided, hey, let's just go guns blazing, win it through the front. Yeah. Of course, Stevo getting crazy 2 pieces in Beans. I mean, did he drop a 50? Maybe almost close. Beans just was playing consistent the whole way across the board. So Awobabobs, unfortunately, I mean, just starting off basically 2-0. I mean, just it's such a hot round too. That last attack, that last defensive round from Bressie. It's just it's crazy. Just came down to lives there in that last one. But regardless, Ultra Academy they start to get fired up. I mean, especially when Beans is playing like that. Oh, we're in for a series here, Spaceman.
Yeah, you can't always count on zoning when those awesome double kills that were helping Bobs stay in these rounds don't come, right? When they don't fall, what do? How do you have a presence in the front of the point? Well, they didn't really. Ultra Academy on the defensive side were excellent. On the offensive side, when they had to bully their way through head on, they did it, and they had good positioning there. We've talked about, you had Steve working up the stairs towards pillars. You had Wee Man rotating through back P3. That was just clinical in the end by Ultra, and that is the veteran experience of players like Beans, of Wee Man, of Steve-O, etc. Players who have been in this circuit before. 47-26, 36 untraded kills for Beans. There's a reason we've talked about him being a top AR in the world, one of the best in Europe. When we were talking about him going into Toronto, why everybody was so excited, because Beans is this good. Furious has a good game as well. Steve-O doing his thing as a sub. This was a team effort, and we needed to see that in the start of this series. They do it finally. All of a sudden, it's a brand new best of 5.
Yep, absolutely. And usually, I mean, control is like, that's the start usually of reverse sweeps. And I'm not saying that Bobs is going to get reverse sweep. You never know. But like, regardless, this is like usually, of course, that turning point. And it's just like really, Ultra Academy just started to kind of adapt to those tendencies of Bobs. And when you start to get used to that, like how they're playing, then you can kind of just start to figure out what you want to do. Sometimes it takes a couple of maps to do that. Sometimes it takes teams a couple of hardpoint hills to do that, to get, adjusted. But regardless, they did a phenomenal job at stopping the bleeding and, of course, taking this map. And as we go into the next, this would be, I believe, yes, it's on the Gavutu. So that's going to be very much so Ultra Academy's playground. As we know, they've been so successful just on that map alone. It's going to be really interesting to see because, of course, players like Jackster, who, again, did get cut down on Berlin, it's going to be very hard for him to make plays on Gavutu, but we'll see if they can do it.
I'm looking forward to how this series could pan out. You got Gavutu hardpointing coming up, our second hardpoint, and if needed, a final S&D will decide how our first series of the day here on Mainstream will go. So far, though, I mean, Bobs and the respawns have looked very good in those late stretches. Control's a different beast. Regardless, though, I'm interested to see how the ARs will respond for Ultra. I think that now that they are warmed up, they've already played a series, but like now you're warmed up. Like there's no excuse. You have to show up when it matters most. So far, they've been doing it, and I honestly think that this is going to be a very close hardpoint. Like, this could be decided by the final hill. This could be like a 250, 240 game. I think Bobs still kind of had the upper hand, just the way they looked. But we need a better performance out of Chaxter in the respawn. There were too many times, I should say, in that control that he was kind of feeding kills.
Oh, yeah, of course. And, the thing is, too, is that if this does go to that Tuscan Search and Destroy, Bobs, as we know, they played it yesterday twice, and they took it 6-0. Both on the Tuscan Control, 3-0, and then the Tuscan Search, 6-0. So even if they do lose this map, you have to think that they're feeling very comfortable going into that Tuscan Search and Destroy. So regardless, it's going to be interesting to see. Of course, though, I feel like, I know you feel like Bobs has the edge, and I agree. They did essentially have a little bit more of consistency when it came to, rotations, getting each other's trades, but Ultra Academy is really, really good at Gavutu, and we know the type of AR dominance that they do have. And of course, I mean, Furious, even previously when he was on, oh my gosh, brain fart, just on his previous team that he was a part of, oh my god, the originals, right? Yeah, like just all across the board, that's going to be the player that I'm looking at, just to keep that level of consistency, because we know as a flex player sometimes it can get a little shaky, but I know Gavutu, he really shines. Of course, so does Wee Man. Beans shines on every single map, but I feel like Gavutu is a little bit more of their playground. They're a little bit more comfortable with this map, and I don't know, I feel like truthfully, I feel like Ultra may take this one this time.
I want a game 5. I think
it would be great.
We should get a game 5. I would like a game 5, but with how this series has played out so far, who knows what we might get. We've seen different versions of these teams in the respawns. The S&D was as close as you would like. Going into Gavutu, this one could be as much of a coin flip as you'd expect. Let's get into it. So far, so good. Early kills there for Ultra when it comes off to this opening P1 hardpoint. What are you expecting out of Bobs to kind of reestablish the fire they had in the first 2 games, knowing that they dropped a round 5 control? What do they need to do early on like they did in game 1?
Well, Abusa getting 4 kills right there, I tell you that's a start, because essentially it was Ultra Academy that had the first 2. So maybe they just I don't know, doesn't look any different here, because they just completely stayed out Ultra Academy. 26-2 already. Winning those opening engagements were key, which were won by Ultra, but again, you gotta not let essentially Bobs get to double pieces or triples.
Yeah, that's probably a good thing. You get two pieces, 3 pieces. It's probably going to help you in Hardpoint. I would say, even with Vanguard being as chaotic and unpredictable as it can be at times, regardless of what the spawns look like, if you get 3 pieces, it might help. So far, so good. A pretty quality lead from Awoba, but you're going to have to build off that going into P2. We go to the boat now, as up towards the gun. It will be Bobs who have position, but inside, Stevo working with both sub and AR in hand, starting off 3-2, 7-2 for Furious, having a very good start to this hard point, and you can see why that's had an effect. As well, the opening 30 seconds has gone Toronto Ultra Academy's way, and even with the team kill, like, there's no pressure around the point. They're just getting all this time for free.
Yeah, and the thing about it here too is that's good is, like, you see Wee Man already on that rotation, 20 seconds left. They could potentially start a snowball here. So as this is a very good, important gunfight, of course, for Abusa. And, I mean, talk about this guy who actually wins it against Wee Man. So now the play is going to be quickly, or maybe actually hold at this point, as they know members of Ultra Academy are in the back. But I was going to say, how about Abusa, though? Like, this guy literally has not really had success with teams. Like, you know, he tried to qualify for Stage 3. He didn't qualify. Not really a lot of success there with the Cup number 10 he played. But since being on this team with Rusty, Jaxter, and Cobra, like, just they've been literally lights out. Like, this is... It seems like he's really able to shine and dominate with this squad. But so far, Ultra Academy still remain in control, and Jaxter, of course, getting through enemy lines, might have to win a huge gunfight. He loses it. Oh my gosh, what was that? Ultra Academy still hold on. How did he lose that? I don't even lose that.
Team that sometimes the gunfights just don't go your way, and Gavutu can be like that. But Awoba is a team that, again, got top 16 at the Toronto Open. They've had about a week towards they had to qualify again for the Elite Stage 4. They do it. This is a team on the rise. They've proven they can absolutely gun with the best, but going up against an early matchup of Ultra Academy, no matter what day you find them on, it will be a tough matchup regardless. Look at the swing, 92-56, what was an early hold, and lead for Awoba has quickly fallen back. And now we go to our next hill. You're going to have to work through that top boat. If you are Brezzy, to take out Stevo, to lock down Beans in the bottom. Good shots by Cobra to get it done, and now the push should come through, but you are worried about those close spawns, as Ultra are looking more than comfortable at the moment just to play with their food here. Buy enough time for reinforcements to get in. Wee Man for 2. There's a clean wipe, though the nade does connect. All the damage done. You got time here for Ultra. No one around to contest. This is another clean hold.
Yeah, and like it seemed like a couple of break attempts from Bobs like seemed to be almost successful. Like you saw Abusa pushing that beach side, and he was able to get through. But I feel like maybe in certain moments, Jaxter's maybe playing a little bit too aggressive and less with his team. So by himself here, he does push old, he does fall, and again, it's just one of the situations where you said, Spaceman, he cannot feed kills. So kind of just getting a little bit on the mix here on the bend. The good news is that Bobs, they do have control over this new point here in the back green, but see if they can continue to hold. Abusa with a huge 2. He has literally been playing very, very good with this team, holding down those sight lines, and does fall. Wee Man does open up pick on that beach side, and now they just have to watch players funneling through mid, through boat. Still, it's Bobs in control, and that's a huge kill from Jaxter, at least on the boat side. Huge 2 make it, and this would be a good potential hold. As you see, Ultra Academy, they have to push through, and they're funneling through middle in boat.
Yeah, it keeps the gunfights in boat. You don't get anybody towards green, so Jaxter with a big kill just to shut down the pressure that could have come through the back. You maintain an idea of where spawns should be. You can focus your attention over towards the boat. It's very nicely done early on by Awoba with 18 seconds to go. If you're Ultra, you give this up. Again, you send a number towards the boat just to have them there, for P2. But right now, yeah, there's absolutely no reason to commit more resources than needed. Stevo does finally get the break with 5 seconds, but regardless, damage done. Nice recovery by Awoba early on in that final rotation to get some time on the board. Wee Man, though, will walk his way through the hard point, dipping and diving around, and that should be a kill. Luckily, Bean's there for support. It's a break for Ultra, and it's time for Ultra.
Yep. And that, of course, nice. Like you said, Ultra gave away positioning. They got set up early at that P1, and yep, already ready and waiting. Chaxter does push through though. At least the entry sub there gets an opening pick from on Beans and leaves Wee Man last alive. The nades utility come through, but not the right corner. Checked. Chax gets taken down, and that's again 4 down for a Wobabobs. Is now you already see again they're trapping Wobabobs back tower. These opening engagements are won, but still. It's Ultra Academy, again set up at the rotation. Beans has a couple players of Wobabobs to worry about, but Abuso wins their first opening pick.
This P2 is going to be big. I mean, this is the game here for Woba. If they don't get a solid 40 seconds, it's going to be very tough to slow down Ultra. Ultra are on a roll. They're playing for that game 5. It seems that everybody's starting to step up, and Abuse is getting cut as soon as he gets into the hard point. At least 2 around, so you do have numbers if you're Ultra here. You should be able to win this, especially with Chax playing a little bit streaky, but here he comes in at 10 in 20. Able to find a big gunfight inside for the early time. Numbers around for Awoba, but Ultra off spawn have a couple of decisions they need to make. Do we start to overexert? Do we go through the middle of the map and try to work through green because we have to worry about P3? But how much time do we want to give up? As of now, at this point in time with Cobra on top boat, if you don't have a clear shot, through the bottom, you hold numbers, but after this, just go. Just leave it, go to P3, win it on the beachfront.
Yep. And I mean, although they were able to get a little bit of time, this is still going to put Ultra Academy over the 200 mark. And of course, Stevo, huge 2 that he wins over at that tower side. And this leaves last alive. It's Abusa to fight 2 members of Ultra Academy, but Abusa does fall. And now members of Awobabob pushing through P1. Have to figure out how to break here, but it's still Ultra Academy zoning forward. Stevo does fall to Chax, so it's Wobabob's kind of fighting through the front and essentially trapping them that back tower side. Ultra Academy are spawning deep. They can still manage to get a few times, but all realistically, Spaceman, if they can hold this time here and trap Ultra Academy in back green, all they really have to do is just back on up. But you see Ultra Academy are just saying, hey, maybe we should just chalk this and let's just worry about the rotation anew. You see 2 players wrapping around. It's Furious, it's Beans, and Chax, although he's fighting through the front, members do get caught off on the hill, and no one's essentially getting time.
Yeah, I was wondering if Brezzy was going to go to the gun, if he was just going to rotate up to P1 and try to get position. Finally, Cobra does, but I don't know if it's a little bit too late, because at this point, you have no mid-map control. You're not going to be able to rotate to P4. Was curious when that decision would come through, so it finally does. It's just a little bit too late. And for Ultra, you have so much room to work with here. Like, not only through the boat, through mid-map, through the gun, through the beachfront. You lock spawns. It's going to be tough to break for Awoba, but they have to. You don't have a lot of choices. If you're Ultra, you win it on this hill. We'll see what happens. Stevo working through the bottom. Able to find 1, maybe 2, but gets the call out, so his teammates will know where reinforcements are coming from for Awoba. And there's a break potential. All 4 up. Now you got to make a push.
Yep. And there you go. That opening nade killer from Cobra allows at least members to slide on through the front, but Chaxter loses the gunfight, but Bressy does pick up 2. So now Ultra Academy are trapped in the back. They just have to stay alive and hold here. So they can just hold this and back up. Essentially, it's kind of the same situation with P3. Getting the kills, though, they are to be 1 for Awobabobs. Cobra and Bressy do get 2, may get 3, and
huge.
That's 4 down now for Ultra. This is huge now. Again, 15 seconds can potentially get them over to the 200 mark, and you already have Abusa on the rotation.
Yeah, there's 9 seconds now, so I would split Chax off and get him towards the gun. And that's what they're starting to do, because you have Abusa push out towards green. They're ready for the next hill, and yeah, you just need a presence to make sure that you have mid-map locked down. They do that. With 58 seconds to go, both teams could win it here. If you have a full hold from Awoba, they will win this game. But all it takes is 1 contest from Ultra to send this to another hill, let alone if they get in time just to win it. They could absolutely do that. They have gun control now. Stevo looking towards green. Chax sitting far back. He gets spotted. Yeah, dude. Let him rip, but he doesn't connect with anything. And now you have reinforcements around the point. You need your subs to get inside if you're Ultra. You need Women to go big. He will not. Furious with a kill. Stevo trying to work through mid-map. All cut down. Yellow in the kill feed. Awoba doing what they can. But everyone gets dropped. Abusa for 2. Top gun control. Back to P1. This game could get put out of reach in just 10 seconds.
Abusa has to get cut down because essentially members of Ultra Academy can't cross, but he does, and that is a huge 2 from Stevo right there. Or, excuse me, 3 as he floods on through the front, but again, it's Cobra holding down the sideline. Wow. He gets 2, and that might be it. That is it. Awobabobs. What on earth? They bring it back after Ultra Academy essentially were in the driving seat the whole time.
Yep. They had a huge P4 break. And then as soon as they were able to get Chax over towards the gun, you get a swing towards top green. You got mid-map control. You have an opportunity to get information. Boom, you get a clean hold. And even though they lost positioning towards the top gun, or towards the boat, once that happens, as long as you're not over peaking, and Chax did the right thing. Like, he didn't have a great game, but he sat down and held his spot. He didn't over peak on the site. He stayed alive inside the hard point, and all of a sudden, you got yourself a lead and you're building on it. That was a big final rotation. It was played perfectly, and that's the thing. They didn't play great hard point, but they played mistake-free when it mattered, and they did a good job in the end of not doing too much. Awobabobs get it done. Ultra had a ridiculously good start to the game, but near the end, they got stuck in that back P4 spawn. They couldn't get across map in time. And when it came down to getting those clutch kills, they just struggled. 26 and 20 for Steve-O. Weeman had a decent game. Furious struggling a little bit, but it really was credit to Awobabobs for what they did. Brezzy, Cobra, Abusa having big games.
Yeah, absolutely. Right there at the end, like, it was huge when Abusa like backed on down. Okay, so at the P4 hill, essentially they had control. They were trapping Ultra Academy in the back, but what was so huge and so key about what Abusa did was he wraps around and he goes towards P1, and he basically just, again, backs up, gets set up for that back green, P5, and then also he cuts down all members of Ultra Academy pushing through that boat side. I think he got 2, he got 3, and then of course, like you said, Chax holding his position and again getting those key kills. Because I mean, off the start, Awobabobs, like, they started off strong, so it's kind of like a crazy thing because Ultra Academy, again, just, you don't really see Beans again go 17 and 24 very often. Like, he just got shut down, and I mean, Abusa just from the start was just playing lights out. 25 non-traded kills from him and 23 from Brezzy. I mean, these guys as an AR duo have just literally been just, again, playing lights out. Cobra, I mean, he's just does Cobra things.
Yeah, I've been so impressed with this team. Again, they dropped one game in the series, so 7, 8, 9, they're now 9-2 in game count so far. They're currently 3-0 in the elite. And when we talk about seasons meaning a lot, and yes, it's obviously you want to win the championship, you want to have a good season because it helps you for next season, but you know, a lot of times, especially seasons 1, 2, and 3, it was like, okay, you have a bad first week, you got time to bounce back, you got time to make something out of it. Not only is this the final season of the year, so you have to come out hot, you have to just have a good start if you want to get in a good position for playoffs, but it's also about proving that proof of concept for this year, the validity of the roster, and just knowing what the hell you're doing. Awobabobs have all of those under control. So do Ultra Academy EU. They just got outplayed in the series, but having players who have come from different teams all around to form this roster, having a great start in week 1 means their week 2 is going to be a little bit easier, and they just have more time to get prepped. I mean, this is a ridiculously strong performance early on, and I did not expect this team to be doing this dominant, given all the competition that's in Europe.
Yeah, and I mean, for what it's worth too, of course, I mean, Ultra Academy EU, like, of course, they are our Stage 3 champs, but they did lose Gizmo, so it's just like they're still going to take some time to adjust. At least they have this VOD to, you know, study and just really come strong for week 2. But regardless, I mean, just the leadership of Brezzy, yeah, they're killing it. I'm really excited to see moving forward what the results are for this team because, yeah, so far, so good.
If they keep playing on this trajectory like they did past Toronto, they're going to be looking good, folks, when they get into week number 2. Let's take a look at the schedule because, well, that was our first series of the day for Europe, and that means that we have one more we got to go through. It's Katana Gaming versus Rocker Academy. Rocker just got 3-0'd. If you're Katana, this is your time to pounce. We saw them yesterday, and I'm interested to talk about that matchup specifically, but when we go to North America, Ultra Academy NA, Iron Blood, Electrify Steel, Destroy the Odds, be the final couple of games that we see tonight. But coming up, we do have Katana and Rocker. However, we're going to have that discussion. Before we get there, closing thoughts, Ellen, on our last series, Ultra Academy, Awobabobs. I want to look at Ultra. Like, give me some ideas, some pointers, some thoughts. What are you thinking about this team? I know they lost Gizmo, but there's still so much talent here. They absolutely can have a better response today.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think they just need a little bit more time to just get it together. Obviously, again, they have the VOD to go over and just to look through, but really, I think it's just about that pressure. They just have to figure out a way in certain moments to just apply it when they need it and adjust to certain pacing issues and just get used to tendencies. But really, it's just about adjusting to Wee Man and getting in the flow of things. So I think they'll definitely bounce back. And Awobabobs, again, they're just looking strong. Of course, just clean up a little bit in certain areas when they have the lead, like Jackster, of course, just falling a little bit short in certain situations, but regardless, they're still playing lights out. They bait for each other, they trade, and of course, they don't give up. So really looking forward to seeing what they do moving forward, and can't wait for this next match.
It's a good time of the year to be playing well. We can say that much. Wubba Bobs continue on 3-0 in the Elite, but we will continue on with the stream after this quick break. When we come back, we go to round number 2 here in Europe for the round robin. This is day 2 of the Elite Series. You don't want to miss it. We'll see you guys in a minute. Welcome back to the Challenge Elite Series, final season. I'm Spaceman, that is Dream Crazy, and this is an interesting one because of all the matches that could potentially go 5. It really feels like this might be it with the way the Rock has been playing lately. Ellen, we know they've had an interesting road so far. Rocker not having the best start to the season. Talk to me about him.
Well, you know, I was going to say that this match, I mean, just this season alone is going to be so important for them because I don't know if you saw the Pro Point standing that came out for champs, but they are in 4th right now. So this is like a must win, like season game. Like they have to do their best. And of course, losing Journey is unfortunate, but with the pickup of Sukri, yeah, their hard points last season, I think they went like 8-8. It wasn't necessarily the best, but just coming into this versus Katana Gaming, both of these squads had ended up beating the Incredibles, but today, you know, Rocker Academy, they did lose to AYM Esports 3-0. So yeah, a little bit of patient issues that's happening between this Rocker Academy squad. But how about Katana Gaming though? Regardless, just a newer guys coming into this. We know we've seen Keza in the past before, and they're just still kind of getting some establishment going on. But for the most part, I think this is going to be a really interesting matchup.
Yeah, I mean, Keza had a lot of high hopes for the year starting out. I don't think he really found a solid roster that kind of brought out the best in his gameplay. We've seen that with a lot of players, right, where sometimes it is just a factor of the system you're in. But on this squad specifically, they had a good start yesterday, and the start crumbled because they took Game 1 off Ultra Academy EU, and then they got smoked in the rest of the series. However, for Rocker, you talk about this team needing to step up. Of all the seasons, of all the times, once more, shout out Waldo and Shane. We love you so much, you handsome men. Of all the times to have a big week 1 in any season, this season probably matters most because they are in 4th in Pro Points. Champs is coming up. Boston is coming up. Rocker have to have a good performance in week 1 to set the tone moving forward.
Yeah, no, for sure. And of course, it's a lot relies onto that like sub pressure. And of course, we're going to be looking towards medals in Real to do so. So ultimately off the start, hot start for Rocker is essentially they have the preferred spawns for the new, and also they have control over mid here. Seems like a hot 2 goes down, but Metals is going to look to cut it down. And again, we talk about that pressure. Rocker Academy starting off good and already set up 2. You got Real on the rotation, and Metals already on a 5 spree, by the way. Seems to be just starting off electric. And a pretty good hold for them. Solid for still for Rocker Academy.
And it's vintage medals from early Cold War. The longest, well, at least one of the longest running duos in Europe, Lucky and Medals. This team's been together, I want to say, since Modern Warfare 2019. And this team, I said the duo. The way that they have just propelled themselves into that conversation of constantly being in a position to contend for a title. I have always been impressed with this squad. On the other side for Katana, this is a team that, again, like a ragtag group of guys, find themselves together, have put up some big numbers, but have had some interesting performances. And I think the big thing that specifically comes down to this series for Katana Gaming, they want to take out Rocker. Yes, it's going to come through the S&Ds, but they have had trouble at trusting their setups in S&Ds as of late. We saw it yesterday where they did a little bit too much on Bocage. I think that Katana need to just have more confidence with their game plan. It sounds super simple, but it does go a long way. And if you're taking it to Rocker, you're going to have that confidence, knowing how quickly Lucky and Sukri and Metals can just explode off the gate.
Yeah, and I mean, just even to get here for Katana Gaming, I mean, they had beaten some reputable teams like Team Moon. They beat Dizzy's Rascals, and then they lost the Invincibles, Individuals. But you know, they beat Nixa Elite to qualify. And if you remember that squad, that was Sean, Snake, and Runners. So, I mean, like you said, it's just one of those things that they can't let these wins get, like these hard points get taken away from them. They got to get set up. And I mean, just off the break, Rocker Academy have just been denying every single opportunity that Katana Gaming could have had to be set up. I mean, Keza was taking long routes around, getting set up. It's here trying to hold, but those gunfights are not to be had. I mean, Ross currently 1-8 right now, not really having the best performance, but if anybody could turn around the game, it would be Jokwa here, because seriously, when this guy gets set up and into position, it makes things obviously a lot easier for the subs to do their thing, but it's kind of hard when you're not getting the kills, Spaceman. I
was going to find a silver lining and say that Katana are doing to Rocker what they did against Ultra on the Hardpoint, which is they're at least contesting early, but now it's 90-14. So again, you're going to have to put some points on the board if you want to stay alive in this game 1. Early on, flying through Real at 4-7. just being a nuisance to the back, right? Even just creating pandemonium could be enough for Rocker to swing things, but how many times in the start of these hills have we seen Rocker put 2-3 down early? Not letting a lot get established for Katana, but finally there will be a hold. We'll see how these 50 seconds play out. It's Lucky in the bottom, and on the other side of your screen in the mini-map, we do see a glide bomb at least connecting, but not cleaning up anything. Towards the top of the barn, shots will ring out, all blue. Excuse me, all white in the kill feed. Can't see colors. Katana able to lock it down, but it's not a bad hill hold. It's just, it's not a lot of the kills on the outside that you like, and Rock are able to find their way in.
Yeah, and I mean, of course, too, that glide bomb certainly did help to make all players of Katana bunker in onto the hill, but huge, too, there from Keza to allow at least the remaining scrap, and looks like Joko had a sub in his hand here. Ross J, by the way, he's usually that guy that does make those routes, so really going to be looking towards him to maybe break some of these setups for Rocker Academy, but regardless, the kills do come through at old, and Joko here actually heating it up. He's on a 5 streak right now. And set up at new, Katana Gaming, they have a potential here. They just have to basically, essentially, get these cuts and hopefully make a hold here.
1 kill was glide. I mean, that's a pretty big cut down by Rocker. It won't do much right now, but it could spell you a hill or two. However, here comes one. Lucky should be able to connect at least with something. And Ross J will fall, so there is a break potential for Rocker. You do have 2 around for Katana, but Real trying to push up into the hard point. Jocka in the back, Ross J on the outskirts, but great jobs by the AR to cut down the front pressure and meet it immediately on the other side of the hill. Metals letting shots ring out, will connect for 1, at least gets 2 on the trade. 18 and 10, make it 19, was working towards streaks, gets cut down by the nade, and quickly Katana worked their way back in this game.
Yeah, and that was huge too from Keza, trying to maneuvering basically around the middle map there and getting a couple kills, but Metals was able to cut down that swamp side. So regardless, he's still there, able to cut down a couple of members, but still the rotations towards new. You see Keza taking a long flick around and Lucky getting set up top. Huge gunfight from Keza on Sukri right there as well. Real searching for Keza, does take him down. The Rocker Academy set up on the barn side, get positioned, and Choco here's to try to fight. Does get stunned out, but regardless, you're going to see 3 members of Katana Gaming working that lower side, and the spawn does flip out, but awareness from Rocker Academy as they turn around, and essentially the slays and the flips coming through. Lucky with a huge 2. Make it maybe a 3rd. Now he's on a 5 spree, and that you just can't let that happen. You got to take down, you got to get those opening ones, those important ones, and Katana Gaming kind of getting a split here. Realistically, Spaceman, I mean, there's a lot of time that went to a Rock Academy on that hill, but if they can get set up here at this new, as I say that, Lucky takes Joko down in the back, maybe they could have a lead change, but still kind of on the back foot.
Real is triple negative, almost, and that's the positive for Rocker, is that if he just starts to turn up, this game's probably over. You have a lead, you've been building on it, you've been winning a lot of the contests in the hills, you've been winning the opening time as well. Even with the push through the back, it's quickly met, and Rocker, one of the best teams at holding their spawns in Europe, they absolutely know where they need to be and when they need to challenge. A lot of these gunfights, Real finally gets his 8th kill. But that's the thing. Like, you're playing a 3v4 for a lot of these hills, and you still have the lead. You're still winning a lot of the rotational game. Jocka's having a great start, 24 and 16, but everyone else struggling. Rocker should be blowing this game open, but it just comes down to a contestant side. Will eat the nade, as Fuzzy's still alive. 24 seconds to fight over. This is a pretty good hold, but Rocker don't have to exert much. They don't have to overcommit here. They just play through the middle of the map, get the kills where they need to, and look at the pinch now forming through the back tank.
You know what's amazing to me? There's how well, though, like you said, if Real steps up a little bit, but how well Rocker Academy is slaying out and how close this game actually is because, I mean, essentially Katana Gaming, you saw Fudzy just work in the front. He's playing a little bit patient in situations where he needs to, and he's playing his life. So able to at least pick off 1 or 2 certainly does help. And I mean, the awareness that Rocker Academy is up top, Fudzy's going to look to work through the back. And although the hill is being contested, huge 1 onto the hill, and Jocko gets a kill in the back, which secure the spawn. So it's Katana Gaming still at that back grandma's, and you have Lucky taking the long way around, does get taken down by Keza. So still the hold here for Katana. If they continue to hold, they could have a potential lead change here.
I mean, you're combining for almost a 60 bomb if your Metals have Lucky, and we're not even into our 3rd set of hills. Like, this is already a dominant start. All purple in the kill feed for dead. Rocker again getting the wipe when they need it most. Spawns in the back, immediately met by Sukri. Open up his own bakery here. He will fall finally, but the damage might be done on this hill. Now you have to worry about the rotation. They'll escape towards the riverside. Super will come off spawn, ready and waiting for that gunfight. Real staying alive inside the hill. Just get him to play anchor, right? Just get him inside to soak up time. If he's not contributing in the slaying column, and you get him extra points. He got a minute 1 to his name. That's what you do. 162 to 130. It's still a 30-point game, which is just wild for Katana, but Rocker slowly and steadily pulling themselves away.
Yeah, and off screen there, the Metals, we just saw he won a huge gunfight onto Ross J in the back, and that essentially allowed them to get this barn capture. But the gunfights in the front from Joko are one from the front, but Metals with the 3 back. So regardless, still, we have Katana Gaming at least to have the back tin spawn here as Rocker Gaming's flooding through the front, but still, kills go in favor of Rocker Academy, and the hills are being contested. It doesn't even matter. It's just you have Lucky and Metals just cutting everything down. So still kind of a little bit of a scrappy hardpoint, which deem a little bit successful for Rocker Academy. It's still the kills in favor for them, and they have the rotation again set up for new as they're trapping members of Katana Gaming back barn.
Interesting hold right now. I mean, it's been one hit at a time, and you've gotten a couple of big breaks, but all the gunfights falling on the outside of the hill, which is usually a team that's winning the hill. And Katana has been able to work their way back in this game, but every single time on rotation, Rock are able to find the opening 2-3 kills. They build a 15-point cushion, and then they concede the middle fights. They're more than happy just to play through the kills as they come. 200 to 144. They can't win it on this hill, but if you are Katana, you have to at least put some pressure and deny the win on what could be a transitional fight that you probably won't walk away with. So now you need your subs to get dirty. Keza able to opening things up inside the hard point. You got Lucky on the screen working on a 40 bomb. That gets him closer. 36 and 19. Make it 37 right into the point. It's Rocker who have the time and the pressure all there.
Yeah, the pressure for sure. And I mean, winning those opening engagements, of course. Still, Lucky on a 3 streak right now. Just holding these angles while essentially you have a member back L just overlooking you, but Sukri does fall. And I mean, so far, Scrappy Hill, it's kind of close, still contested. A minute 25 seconds left. Shea to be taken down on the hill. It's Real who's stepping up a little bit, but still the kills in favor for Rocker Academy. There's no one around and Jock was left last alive. I mean, essentially you got the spawns for new, but it's 223 to 164. How much bleeding can you stop here? And Joko gets taken out, but it's Fudzy left last top barn. And he gets taken out by Lucky. So yeah, I mean, just got to win these opening engagements, man.
I mean, yeah, this is still absolutely winnable for Katana, the way they've been able to split a lot of these gunfights, especially towards the barn and towards Riverside. They're doing a very good job with the automaton, but it also comes down to, again, noticing that you can't really win on Serap time. You're going to have to win the transitional fight, especially going to P2, knowing how quickly Rocker gets it up towards the tank, how quickly those nades have flushed out a lot of your ARs. The only player around is Jaqua, and if he doesn't... Never mind, he finds 2. Okay, so that makes things easier. And then he gets cut down by the nade, and Metals is now flying. He will fall, but the numbers are here for Rocker. You got 2, make it 3 in front. You need pressure towards top barn. There it will be, but Rocker clear it off yet again. Just get a sub inside, let Real get a kill or 2, let him lay down, and this game could be done.
Yeah, no, I mean, that was huge, too, from Jaqua here. But regardless, cutting him down, Ross J at least gets a couple key kills here to save the hill. But, my goodness, Lucky on a 5 spree again. Both about to drop 50. Still, 237 to 185. Kills in favor in the back. Keza does get 1 and Jaqua to follow, but 25 seconds left. They could win it here, essentially, Rocker Academy, but... Are they going to fight for it at the end of the day? They don't really need to. They can just back on down, get set up, and you see Metals already doing just that, getting ready for the Grandma's Hill.
Yeah, that's where you push Metals up into Grandma's and just get them comfortable with taking these one-on-one engagements. Keza now starting to fly. 31 kills to his name. Can't clean up Real in the back, and that pressure from Rocker could really pay dividends, but never mind. Fudzy gets in, picks up the kill. Hold on a moment. I know it's only 3 seconds, but the way these kills have been going, Katana are starting to make a bit of a push here. They're finding a lot on the outside. The subs are stepping up huge. The ARs have cut down the pressure from the opposite ARs getting into the point. But will Rocker find that opening 2-piece or 3-piece that gets them in? Yes, they will. They do it every single damn hill they find themselves in. Just 1 second's needed. They win the following 2. Real and Metals combined for the win. And Rocker Academy on a scary end. Get it done, 250 to 214.
Yeah, and I mean, my goodness, I mean, it just really came down, of course, to those engagements. A couple of those key hills, though, I mean, just for how well Rocker Academy were outslaying Katana Gaming, like, you would think you would see a little bit, bigger of a lead, but of course, it's Bocage. Anything can happen on that map. But regardless, there was a couple instances where I feel like where Ross J, I mean, and shout out to Major for this one because his nickname was Route J that he deemed him, but I feel like some of those routes that Ross could have maybe taken a longer way around, just really just getting in unfortunate situations where they're getting shot and cut down from Metals. And of course, certain corners, certain angles, certain positionings that Metals was playing was key. And of course, Lucky tearing it down, locking down those lanes. I mean, it just really, I feel like this could have been a completely different game if just a couple key gunfights were taken. And of course, I mean, Rocker with those coordinated nades, they were just easily breaking setups.
It was constant 2 pieces and 3 pieces that made it so difficult for Katana to not only break the hill and hold, but to get any kind of setup. Like, this team is very good at, Katana is very good at being able to break hills and to chain a couple of breaks together. But the problem was just they were constantly playing at a disadvantage. When you're constantly playing, one sub and one AR kind of split wide on the outskirts and having to throw a lot of shoulders just to bait gunfights, and you have no one else to support because Rocker's picking up 2-3 kills at a time. How difficult is it going to be to be able to hold down a hill and chain that together? 44 and 29 for Metals, Lucky at 47 and 25. Like, everybody drops almost, if not a 30 bomb. It's very difficult to stop that slide.
Yeah, no, I agree.
40 untraded kills for Lucky.
That's insane. That's an insane stat line. I mean, 32 for Metals. And I mean, off the break, too, it's taking certain routes, of course. Metals was just completely cutting it down. But, I mean, the person who essentially could have saved it was Jokwa there at the end because he did get that key 2-piece, right? But, of course, you had Metals and coordinated nades that were cutting him down through the front. So, wow, that was a crazy game of Bocage there, but I of course, going into this next one, I mean, it's search and destroy, but even the next respawn, like, we just definitely need to see a little bit more slaying power there from
Katana
Gaming.
You're going to need to see more, and I mean, also need to see more from Real, a guy we called the win condition and X factor for Rocker in prior seasons, what he was able to do, especially on maps like Bocage in S&Ds, how quickly he could turn the tides. Yeah, he had a slow start, but I mean, if he has a good Bocage S&D, oh my god, this is a 2-0 series. So going into game 2, let's get some predictions in because we have Gav control guaranteed. Berlin, maybe at this point in time. Rocker had a very slow start yesterday. Talk to me right now. What are you seeing in this series, and what do you think the result will be of game 2?
Well, I can tell that it seems like Katana Gaming, I mean, like, they prefer like a Bocage, it seems like, because they played it yesterday. They played it against the Invincibles. They played it against Bobs, but I don't know. I feel like
they played against Ultra and lost.
Ultra and lost. Yeah, they lost to Ultra too. But I mean, and they lost at 6-4. So I mean, I'm not sure. Like, I just feel like you got to look out for Metals, of course, because Metals with those first bloods is key. He's going to be the one that obviously taking those routes maybe mid-map, catching the enemy off guard, and essentially they just have to anticipate that. So just being able to make those mid-round adjustments to be able to adapt to Rocker, because I mean, just from that hard point, again, the stat line, the score. Don't be deceived by that, because of course Lucky and Metals, they feel like very, very comfortable on Bocage. And I mean, even on those tank gunfights too, I'm gonna expect to see Lucky and maybe Jokwa take it down head to head, maybe that long Riverside. But it's really, of course, just for me getting those opening picks. But I would imagine that we might see a lot of crazy stuff happen mid and bottom grandmas. It's just like, that's the thing. Get into grandmas, post up, wait for those pushes.
I feel like the subs are going to have a field day on this map, and we've said that all year. It's probably going to be the same thing here. Metals could absolutely take over game 2, and I'm very interested to see what the approach will be from Rocker, as we have one player still trying to get into things. We'll keep you updated as we go, but you know, with how subs have been on this map in S&D the entire year, for Rocker, do you continue to stay aggressive like we saw? Like, it wasn't a standard approach in that hardpoint. Like, yes, Rocker executed on their game plan, but it was aggressive. Every time we jumped on with Metals or we jumped on with Lucky or Real, they were flying. They were constantly on the move. And again, it's Bocage, sure, but I want to know in this S&D, I honestly think if you're Rocker, given the fact that you had a bad day yesterday, I would say, look, fight fire with fire and go all out if you're going into S&D.
Yeah, no, for sure. Obviously, like we know this is a must win. Truthfully, for Katana Gaming, like because they haven't. I don't think they have won even a control yet. This stage. I don't know if they won a control at all. Yeah, against Invincibles, they beat Invincibles 3-1, but again, they lost the control 3-1. So this is a must win if you're Katana Gaming, because it, potentially either you can take it to a map 5, but you could get potentially 3-0'd here. Just because at least on Gavutu, you don't want to play. I feel like, I mean, I know the hard points still are iffy, but I just feel like once this Rocker Academy still gets a little bit more established with Sukri, I just, they're going to be a dominant team. They just obviously need a little bit more time with making those adjustments with how long the fact that they've been playing with Journey, just that core trio of Metal, Journeys, and Lucky, like they've been playing for a while, so just losing that player, just making a little bit more adjustments to playing with Sukri. I feel like they're going to be, I think they did their homework. I think they're going to be a force on Control Gavutu. So this is a must win if you're Katana Gaming. Like you got to win this because, turn it over to Berlin, and maybe might be some magic happen, because it seems like Katana Gaming has better luck with Berlin than any better luck with Berlin, I guess, essentially, than any other hardpoint. Yeah,
I mean, you probably have a better luck on the Gav control if you're Katana if you go down 0-2. Just kind of given recency how you were correct. The Rocker have not yet won a control in this stage, but with all that said, the sub pressure cannot be overstated. Like it's often, especially as the year has gone on, we talk about the AR dominance for a lot of teams. We live in an AR world in Call of Duty right now. The subs have been absolutely crucial, and Metals has been playing some of his best Call of Duty as of late. We're seeing that Prime Metals and Lucky duo that we've seen for years in Europe that has been so freaking dominant. And I think the addition of Sukri with all the circumstances is a good one. I've been a big fan of Sukri, what he's been able to bring to the table. Even when Sukri's Bakery didn't pan out the way it was supposed to. Like, this kid's different, and he brings something to the table that's unique. So let's get into it. It's Game 2 S&D. Rocker taking the opening hardpoint pretty quickly, though it was interesting in the end. We'll see how things play out. Metal is my key to victory here for Rocker, my eyes to watch. We'll see what he does.
Yeah, not to mention, too, I was going to throw in a quick note. Katana Gaming did take Ultra Academy on Berlin yesterday, 250. Remember that first game? So
yeah, they took game one.
They must win for Katana.
To the rest of the way.
Yep. But there you go. You said Metals, first blood for Metals, but make it 2 to follow from Fudzy and Kedza. Now, Sleeves Metal last alive in the back here, but the good news about it is he could catch a player in the flank, and he certainly does that. 2 versus 2 for Lucky and Metals versus Kedza and Ross J.
If you go to the window and you're lucky and you're able to peek over towards B, you might catch Ross J. However, it's not a guarantee. Working to the back for Metals, I mean, you're just splitting the space you have to work with, which I think is the right play for Rocker. Not giving a lot of clean sights, but he did spot Ross, and I think Ross saw him too. Here comes the push. Metals flying in, gets the kill up close. Always going to win that gunfight with a sub. It's Keza last alive. He's been in these positions before. Bomb will go down today. Oh, he saw him. He absolutely saw him. Keza, let's shots ring out. Metals has to stay alive.
Yep. Stay alive. I'm gonna have to get the bomb down, but yeah, I was gonna say Keza running right in there, but potentially he could have maybe if he got positioned top barn, but I think the problem was,
it would have taken,
of course,
too long.
The timing. Yeah, the timing of it. They would have got away, and of course, getting set up in that back tank area is not what you want, because like, especially against Lucky, it's gonna be almost impossible to take down. Either which way, for Metals, electric start. Very, very good start from him.
And if I'm Rocker, I want to continue to try to feed him kills and get him a glide bomb. Like that's my game plan right now. To try to put this game away in the first 3 rounds. You absolutely could do it. But Ross, wow, how did Real make that read immediately? It's the first blood. Katana got to be scratching their heads with that one. It seemed they were primed from an opening pick, but Rocker just too damn fast. And all of a sudden, the numbers advantage yet again goes to Rocker.
And I wonder what the plan there was from Katana, because they left the bomb down in the spawn. So you saw Jokwa had to go back and get it. And now, I mean, you lose 2 members. You got to play for picks here. And I mean, the utility comes in from Lucky, so the information is there. At least one is on the bomb and a second one to follow. So they know at least 2 members are at A, but is this bomb going to swing over to B?
No, they're trying to play the pick.
They were trying to
play the pick.
Yeah.
Alan, I know you gun people like that, but sometimes when you see it, it's very difficult to put it into words. Sukri meets his demise at range. Fudzy will make it a 3v2 with 28 seconds. The problem now is just committing to his height. Like, it's not even about time anymore. It's just you have to make a choice. I think A should be the call, but you're playing a one-on-one. Lucky going to take you down. And now what do you do with 17 seconds?
Yeah, I mean, not even being in trading positions. So the bomb is down. I mean, Fudsy's, yeah, in Narnia land. That's it.
Was that Metals?
I
got the kill? I only asked because I'm worried about streaks.
No, it's Real.
No, it was Real.
Real. It's unfortunate. But yeah, I mean, essentially, I don't know if the play was kind of just maybe to push up, maybe get a pick and then go back and get the bomb. But that kind of, wastes a little bit of extra time there. It's just kind of like full sending towards the bomb site. But regardless, capitalizing on the situation, Rocker Academy still leading the charge. And yeah, both Lucky and Metals haven't died yet. 2 for Lucky, 4 for Metals.
Yeah, if the call was to go towards A and play through River, you live and die off the first pick. Ross got absolutely gunned, and then what do you do from that point? It was a delayed push. They really had nowhere to go. The positioning was there for Rocker. They don't have eyes at mid-map. They couldn't overwhelm on the site, and now, off the opening break again, they lose an early number. Ross, no kills in this S&D. Real having a very good start in every position to make a play. Split to the middle of the map should be there for a Rocker. Metals tagging a couple. Can't clean up the kill on the hunt. Will find it through the corner. He's absolutely cracked.
Huge.
Jacques will able to at least even things out. I think he might have gotten it time before Metals earned the glide bomb. We'll check in after. Real on a 3 spree, but now it's a 3v1. And if you're Jacques, I mean, you're not really working on much, but you don't want to feed anything.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm just wondering if he's going to make the play, but he might try to clutch it, but very impossible when, of course, you have 3 members Rocker Academy out, but when you're beaming like that, maybe you can cut it down and make things easier. So essentially, he's got 2 players, 1 in the back, 1 in the front. He's got to isolate. He knows at least where Sukri is. So quickly, the time is going to be on his side. Can he catch him? Yep.
He might not have enough time to defuse, but he could absolutely catch Sukri. Oh, he checks wrong. He did everything right. It's that final execution just didn't work out. Rocker, the patience so good. Nicely done on the hop up for the kill, but I thought for a minute, this dude's reading him like a book. Sukri, great reaction time to get it done.
Yeah, for sure. And of course, like you said, it's just one of the situations. Ross J had the first blood, got down by Sukri by that nade kill, and first blood yet again goes to Rocker Academy. So, I mean, of course, that's what they do so well is once they get those first blood like picks, they immediately utilize and utilize the lag out of the game. So anyway, Rocker Academy up 3-0. Looks like we had a little lag out there, and we'll get that restarted. But so
we'll
far,
get the players
I mean,
back in. No worries.
So far,
if you're Katana, you're thankful that you get a pause because that S&D was going by way too quickly. Rocker were having their way. First Bloods make the rounds infinitely more easy. Yeah, that's English. And in the end, Rocker just... It seemed like even when the setups were coming through for Katana, whether it was Metals or Lucky and Real, especially on the opening pick on Ross J, they were cutting down the setups, the potential setup from Katana so quickly that at that point, you're like, we'll just play the gunfight one-on-one every single time and we'll win it. So Rocker having a very good game too, and that's scary because they came out aggressive like we asked them to do, Ellen, after the hardpoint. We said come out aggressive. They've been doing it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's just kind of where, I mean, I know that from yesterday, I'm sure they're firing on all cylinders after that upset loss against Team War because they were essentially up. They were up 2-0 and they got reverse swept. So yeah, not something that you want, of course, happen on day one, but you learn from those things that happen, right? You learn from those mistakes and you capitalize on those and just overall dominate the next day. And that's exactly what they've been doing today. Looking pretty good all across the board from all members. And even so, just setting up in those trading positions, it's kind of similar to what happened just even with map 1, like Katana Gaming. I mean, they just, again, they're getting set up for those plays, but then they're not necessarily able to just execute fully. So it's of course important to stay in trading positions and being able to help out your team. Maybe just display a little bit more patience and finesse, and maybe they'll come out with a win. But up 3-0 to Rocker Academy, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see if they got it. It's currently a 3-0 lead, 1-0 series lead for Rocker. When we come back, we're going to be taking a quick break, and we will continue on with Game 2 of this series. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you guys in just a second. Hello, 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 my little Call of Duty gremlins. We are just going to be picking up from round 4. Rocker was up 3-0. Luckily, no one was on streak, so that helps, but we're going from round 4. Ellen, this makes it really simple. We can just jump back into the action. Rocker can take a chance to breathe, talk about strats, and Katana can take a chance to figure it out, I guess. Yes, I did.
I'm laughing about the Call of Duty gremlins and the fact that also too, I was muted out for a second, so stream didn't hear that. But yeah, Spaceman, he's getting roasted for that one. Not a big deal. But anyways, Rocker Academy, yes, they're definitely looking much better today, firing on all cylinders. And that aggression that we talked about, Metals has been really playing lights out. And I mean, usually, and if Real is just kind of chilling, it's kind of crazy because they're still winning. So he steps up. I mean, regardless.
Had a good game too.
I say step up. Yeah, he's had a good game too, regardless. These guys are monsters when they're all firing on all cylinders. And yeah, being fourth in the pro point like standings as it stands right now, this is a very, very important stage. These next couple of months are very, very key for them.
He's had a very productive game too, and that just means it could spell success for the rest of the series. However, for Katana, a team that came through the qualifiers, this is going to be a big test for them because now their backs are a bit against the wall. You didn't have a good day yesterday. You're playing against Rocker, who has not been having the best of starts, but they look like the Rocker of old. We're starting up game 2 from a 3-0 scoreline. Of course, Rocker taking the first 3 rounds. We wondered if streaks were going to become a factor in this game. So far, it's just been the gunnies from Real, from Metals, from Lucky. Sukri's had a very quiet game, but like not any negative. He opened up on Ross J with a nade to get a first blood in round number 3. I expect a similar aggression. If you're Rocker, you're acting as if this break didn't happen. If you're Katana, you get a chance to breathe, which is huge.
Yeah. Well, let's see if they can bring it back. But, you know, being in the situation where you potentially have streaks or almost have streaks, and then that happens, I tell you what, sometimes it can mess with the mental. But
well, absolutely.
Regardless, I think that Rocker Academy still will not let them falter, because for the most part, they do seem like they have been in the driving seat the whole entire time.
I think the nice thing, at least for this reset, was that no one was around streaks. All of Rocker had got killed off of it, and I think the closest was maybe Jacques at maybe 1 or 2. Other than that, you'll take this reset over anything else. Lucky takes down Fudzy for the first kill. Trying to find a response. Real dipping and diving. Able to get around those bullets and make it a 4v2 again. How many times in these rounds can Katana go down quickly, losing numbers, and try to bring themselves back?
Oh. There goes Ross J, last alive, and of course, numbers know exactly where he is. Jeez, shoosh. I syringed his hair off the head, and there you go, Rocker Academy up now 4-0. That is Sukri winning a gunfight, of course, against Ross. And, you know, keep in mind, it's like, I don't know if this, exactly, like with Fudzy, with Jacques, and Ross J, they did get second in the ACCL under Team Ricochet, and that's where the Katana Ricochet at least came from in the qualifiers. But these core 3 at least have experience together. So, you know, with the addition of Keza, of course, see if they can, they just have to, there's just like key ones gunfights that they need to win, just coordination as a team. But still through that middle of the map, you see Metals just trying to
getting first blood.
Cut a Mebel down, but yeah, get first blooded and get each other's trades.
Yeah, it'd be nice if they could get through 30 seconds, maybe a minute of a round without losing someone so quickly. And the position they give away now, when you look into Grandma's, how quickly you lose the height game as well. River control there for Rocker. Bomb could go down for free, should they choose to. It will. Ross J working underneath, trying to make a play on the site. He'll get around 1, finishes the kill. Can't finish the second, though. Sukri found him way too quickly. Keza working the back for 1. Now 2v1.
Keza's pushed through. Oh, that was a huge gunfight. This is definitely doable now if you're Keza. 26 seconds left, and he has to slay out Real, who's essentially sitting back L right now. The information is there from Real, so kind of losing sight. Keza, he's going to make the wrap around. He might get timing. He might get perfect timing, but he loses the 1. Oh my goodness. Huge from Real. And now Rocker Academy are up 5-0. That could have been huge. He would have had time to defuse it there, Spaceman. He definitely would have had time.
Yeah, it's another S&D where, again, someone guesses correctly 90% of the way through, and then the last turn, you're thinking he's going left, he's going around the silo, he's got it, and he goes back up mid. Oh, it was a great effort by Keza, but again, that could inject enough life into the rest of the team to buy him around, because really, even though he loses it, yes, they're down 5-0, you bought them more time in a round than they've ever had in this game. Maybe that does start paying dividends. First blood finally. Katana gets something. They get 2. They got numbers, but quickly it's a 2v2.
Yeah, beautiful trade there from Lucky, of course, on that Silas side. And Keza with the positioning onto Lucky now. That was a beautiful kill. Leaves Sukri last alive over in the barn side. He wrapped around, but he might get perfect timing here if he can catch one of those members off the plant. And now it leaves Fudzy left at a 1 versus 1, and he might have been spotted. Lucky, though, wins the gunfight. Oh, my goodness. Spaceman. Fudzy should have had that. Fudzy should have had that.
Oh, he got styled on.
Excuse me, Sukri. Was that Sukri and Lucky? Oh my gosh.
Wow.
All members were just
Yikes, man. Okay, so Rocker up 2-0. And now we go to control. Because that was... did the break even happen? I went to get water. Did the break even happen? Like, what the hell was that?
I
Wow.
think
Okay. That was a very quick game too. Honestly, we're gonna wrap and talk about the series, and we're gonna talk about the game. But there legitimately is not a lot to talk about, because that was from start to finish completely Rocker. You got the most time in a round ever by Keza trying to clutch a 1v3, which became which started from a 1v4. That was all Rocker. They got first bloods. They outpositioned. They got the bomb down quickly. They constantly found trades, and they won their gunfights. Like they won big individual gunfights in the last round. You see it there. That was quick.
It really was. And you know, I feel like it's kind of tailored into what happened with map 1. Like Katana, like they're just, again, not really getting in those trading positions. They're really, again, not winning their ones. I mean, you kind of listed off everything, but I mean, they have potential to do it, you know? But what scares me going in, again, to this map 3 is the fact that, yes, I mean, control. We haven't necessarily seen them win a control yet, so this is going to be tough. This is going to be tough when you got Rocker, again, just slaying out on all cylinders. You got to turn up. You got to be able to slay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nothing really.
And here's
Sukri.
the replay.
Oh my god. I just...
Yeah, he kind of...
Gotta win. Gotta win your ones, man.
Kind of smoked him a little bit, but I want to shout out production, not only observers for doing what they do, production, all the ops team behind the scenes, getting these players in the lobby and continuing the show today, but for playing the energy song, because of all times now, Katana absolutely need the energy so much, and now they're mad at me for bringing that up. So with that said, we're going to get ready for our control. Rocker have yet to win one so far in stage 4. Katana just trying to win a map at this moment in time. Before we get there, we're going to go to another quick commercial break. When we come back, what could be the conclusion of Game 2 for Europe today. Don't want to miss it. We'll see you guys in just a second. Welcome back. Quick correction. My mistake. Rocker have already taken a control, but it was Katana who have struggled to finally get that game 3. So even better, you're down 2-0, and now you got to play control a game in mode that you have yet to be able to secure. So at this moment in time, is it any stretch, Ellen? Is it any much of a too much to ask? Not English. Go with it. Rocker are going to win the series 3-0. I'm saying it right now. They're going to win this series 3-0 the way they've been playing. I'm just saying.
If this was on Berlin, I would say maybe Katana could potentially bring it back. But I mean, it's not impossible. I mean, I look at Jokwa here because he's got that AR dominance that could potentially set up his team for success. But again, everybody needs to be able to slay. So I'm really going to be looking at him. And we don't want too much pressure on him, though. So we need Rosh J, of course, to take those routes. Route J, we need you to take those routes. And of course, just slay. Slay, baby, slay. That's really all they need to do here and just get set up. Because, I mean, the first game was close. It was close. They just weren't able to hold. So they can hold.
First game was close at times. I think you're absolutely right, but I will put a caveat in there. It was close at times, and that was the brilliance of Katana Gaming that we had seen yesterday. The problem is that when they get pressured, it's almost like they break down. And not as if they play horribly, they lose the ability to shoot their way out of a situation. And they just didn't have it in the respawn. They didn't have it in the S&D. They got smoked 6-0. The last kill was pretty indicative of how that entire game went.
Sukri.
And now...
So sorry for saying lucky.
He got lucky in his positioning, and then he set up shop. What can we say? That is a quadruple entendre for those of you who follow European Call of Duty. In this moment in time, it could be a 3-0, and for Rocker, I think more so than just a series win, to have a dominant series win be a 3-0 fashion, this would be a big morale boost for this team. Coming out in day 2, knowing you have to perform and getting a 3-0 sweep, that goes a long way for a team's confidence.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And I mean, just from yesterday again against Team War, getting reverse swept, they don't want that to happen again. And I mean, even taking the chance of taking Katana on, on a hard point on Berlin, Katana, they started off strong because their very first map was against Toronto Ultra on Berlin Hardpoint, and they took it. So if you don't want to take them to that map for, of course, you want to end it here, and this would be the time to do it. But yes, for sure, Rocker Academy favored, course, to take it, but it's not impossible if you are Katana Gaming. I still believe that they do have the potential there to do it. They just gotta get some type of coordination down and figure out, of course, not to be broken so easily. Even just utilities, just coordinating your utilities and getting set up for trades. It's gotta happen. It's gotta happen now.
I feel like I should get a motto for a lot of teams going into stage 4, knowing that this is the last season. You either do or you don't. This is where you make that big stretch. For Rocker, the aggression has paid off in spades. They have been lights out on a lot of these individual gunfights that have certainly helped propel them into a 2-0 spot, a 6-0 win in the S&D, a very confident win in the end in the opening hardpoint. Already more dead in the kill feed. Make it 4 in a row. Rocker setting up shop quickly, but a switch gets him killed. But regardless, it's a decent start. You got 27 to 26, not a huge disparity, but the pressure over towards A is good enough for the defense.
Yeah, that was definitely a good defense there, and what potentially looked like at least could have been a takeover for Katana Gaming. You had Lucky posted up middle, just watching the cross on that cliffside. So as Metals, he pushes over towards P1 and gets a huge 2. See, that's what I'm saying. You cannot let Metals do that. You have to be able to get each other's trades. And now Rocker Academy, they're posted up, and pretty much every single lane is covered. They can essentially just hold this trap here for the defensive side and make it almost impossible for Katana Gaming to leave their base. The kills are still coming through for Rocker Academy, and there's only 24 seconds left to at least get some sort of time. Fudzy, at least he's able to sneak on through that deep beach side and, well, get on to B to stop the clock. But how long can he hold on for by himself?
Oh, that's the question. I was wondering, even if he does run into a gunfight by himself, I don't necessarily at this moment in time trust Katana Gaming to win their gunfights. And that is not a negative on the players. It's just the way the series going. Rocker have had their number. They've been winning these huge engagements that have just made it so much more difficult to set up anything for Katana. And right now, they need a flurry of kills, and they need them quickly. They won't get it. Rocker survive on defense, and they do their job, right? Like, they didn't get pressured over to A. They didn't get pressured on B. They had mid-map control for the entire round.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was just clinical, just clinical Call of Duty right there. And right at the end, it looked like Fuzzy or somebody from Katana Gaming was able to slide on the point, but I don't know if it was just a little, like, just a tick too late. Regardless, the save almost came through there at least to stop the clock, but would have been at like a, what, 0.1. But still, Rocker Academy, yeah, they just, again, just controlling every single lane and getting those key kills. Nothing clinical here, but you see already the split. I was gonna say Metals, maybe potentially to do some damage there. It gets cut down, but Lucky here waiting by himself to maybe make a play at A, gets taken down. So that's a pretty good defending start from Katana Gaming, able to at least get all members of Rocker Academy down, and maybe now they could do the same thing that just happened to them. The kills do come in their favor, and Real gets taken down. So now it's pretty much the trap that they got set. You got one boat, you got one mid, and you got one set up that beach side.
I mean, they could. They just need to inject some confidence. Keza at 1 and 6. Everyone else, though, pretty decent, right? There's still a lot of time to get going in this control, but this is a big round. If Rocker go up 2-0, it's going to be tough enough to reverse sweep them, but you're going to have to do it in this game. Boat control here. Lucky just cutting them down at range, and there's Metals all the way towards back green to find one more off spawn. It's 4 more dead. How many times have we said that in this series where it seems like constantly there's 3 or 4 dead for Katana? Now they have to work through a chokehold. They're going to have to get over towards the gun. They just can't. Progress going down on A. Rocker more than happy to sit comfortably with no contest. You can put 2 over here and let the other 2 just wreak havoc on the back spawn. That's what they're doing.
Absolutely, and that was such a huge 2 from Lucky, and also from Sukri, who is able to at least get some sort of distraction over at B to split the push from Katana Gaming. But as A is slowly just getting captured, I mean, this is pretty much free for Real. You see members of, you see members of Rocker Academy just, of course, zoning forward and getting set up for B. So, I mean, huge one for Metals, at least over here on the gun side, and Kez is able to take down Sukri, but oh, that's a huge 2 to get it started. That was big.
That's big. And that's big as well. Finally, something goes the way of Katana. They get some presence, some pressure over towards the gun. You are working on a glide bomb, so that streak could help just mitigate this round and neutralize the pressure. Keza starting to shoot back dangerously at range. And if you're Rocker, you did get A, but you still need something. You need pressure through the gun. You need pressure towards green. You need to get numbers over towards the beachfront. This is not an easy win round. This is not something you're going to walk your way through. You're going to have to deal with Keza up top, and he earns the glide.
Still, will it be enough though? But still kills in favor for Rocker Academy as
there they go.
Again, it's kind of heating up just a little bit. Hard D for Katana Gaming, but looking at how they can split this one up, I mean, you have Sukri who's deep beach here, and maybe send a member all the way around on the flank, but you have Keza who's set up in green as well. So opening engagements, there's only 30 seconds left, and still all ticks to be had over at B, but Metal's able to take down Ross J. Will open things up a little bit for in the front, and a huge win from Real in the front. So make it 2. That could be potentially it here. The clock is stopped, 20 seconds left.
Yeah, they're going to have to deal with Metals, and he really helps them get onto the point here. They still haven't sent anybody on the search. They're just letting him walk away for free. They have to deal with Metals, because as long as that happens, that's what I was worried about. As long as someone stays alive, you might be able to bait out a streak, and the glide bomb does get used, but Rocker not only have numbers, they're on the point, so you lose the streak, the nade does connect, but do you have enough in the tank if you're Katana on defense to be able to stop this round? Rocker found a way through Metals, pure resolve and resilience with that sub to get onto the point, but with 6 seconds to go, Rocker have one more push. Katana on defense might have done just enough. Do they get on? 1.6 still alive. Rocker with a 0.1. They're onto the point. They have enough time. It's 7v1. There's no way they do this. Rocker again find a way to get it done. They bait the streak. Metals comes up big at green. They get themselves on the point, and they play off the numbers. It's a 2-0 lead. Katana have got to be absolutely tilted right now.
Oh my gosh, even with the glide, the wipe, the setup, Rocker Academy broke through with 0.1 second. And I mean, Lucky, I mean, everybody at the end right there just went off in those opening kills right in the front. And of course, the utilization of the nades. Like, Rocker are so good at tearing down setups with their utilities. Like, it's absolutely insane. Oh my gosh.
I was wondering if they were going to get the streak to get baited out, and it's one thing to say you need to use the streak if you're going to go down 0-2. I absolutely agree, but I wondered how quickly that streak would come into play if Keza elected to use it. He invested at the right time, but the problem is nobody dealt with Metals, so at that point, Metals basically neutralized the streak. No one else was able to follow up with extra kills. and Rocker took advantage. Like, Metals just went huge.
Yeah, and of course, it always pays to have that one man just going all the way around, cutting off the spawn, and that's exactly what he did. Like, he was being annoying, being a nuisance in their base. It's just that level of spawn control that Rocker just do so well, but still here set up. I mean, you see Keza and Jocko just trying to at least maybe get some sort of tick here and some control on the boat side, which is very key. At least they got 1.5 tick over at A, maybe make a second, but at the end of the day, they're going to have to stack this point. And you see just that middle, Real gets taken down, and this might be a cap for them at least. But Rocker Academy set up at that beach side all across in the upper half of your map. At least they know where all members of Katana Gaming are coming from. It's just about winning those engagements. And, I mean, yeah, Lucky still doing just that.
It was a big win over on the boat, but now they're going to have to break through the purple defense, which is a lot easier said than done. And Sukari opens things up. It was controlled before Ross J breaks his way through. 12 and 11 towards the beach side. Automaton has been doing work in his hands in this series. Real having a very good game. Oh, wow. That's just great reaction time. Can't even get upset about it. 18 to 16, though. That's what's interesting is that even with this defensive hold, Rocker have worked the numbers back to a 1-point gain in that column. The lead stays for Katana. Are they able to get on the point? Finally, yes. Jocko is able to open up with 2, but no one else around. Stuns fly out. They just haven't been able to get a clean push.
Yep. And if you are Rocker Academy, I mean, essentially, you want to get these opening kills, but as soon as you do that, you want to push forward and get control of that P1 control. And as you see, it's Katana Gaming that have it. So this can deem it maybe a successful push, but it's about winning those gunfights. So Real takes down Ross J on the men, but still Metals tearing it down over by that green side. And Keza still holding on to P1. Oh my gosh, the shots on the Lucky tags him up, but still, with only 33 seconds to work with, still got to figure out a way to how to attack this point. But there is 8 kills left remaining for Rocker Academy. They might be able to cut him down.
Yeah, they can get on this. And they have, I mean, this is a round they should win. We've said that a lot, but you have the numbers. You have a ratio of 2 to 1. Just got to hold your lines. Take them out one at a time. Real finding 2. Lucky with the third. 8 to 4. 20 seconds to go. Rocker do get the clear. How do all 4 of Katana go down? Maybe you put 2 on the point, 1 on the outside, 1 on the gun, just to make sure you have someone in position to follow up onto the point if you get wiped. But it seemed like they had a full stack, and yet Rocker, again, find a way to make it difficult. 3 seconds, you got to get on. Real trying to play his life. Jocko's in, but on the beachfront, it's Lucky and Metals. I don't know how in the world Katana let that happen again. But Rocker, take it defensively when they were 12v5, and Rocker win it. You 4-stack and you all get wiped.
You know who is really key right there? That was just so smart from Lucky. Remember what we said about pushing forward on that beach side? Lucky was just laying inside the tank waiting for them to get on it. And as soon as that happened, what did he do? Popped up, beamed them. Like, you gotta win your engagements. But my goodness, I mean, it was closer. It was closer for Katana. I mean, regardless, like, I think this is still week 1. You know, they got some VOD to review and to look at because regardless, I mean, Rocker Academy, obviously no easy feat, not an easy team to go up against, but you had opportunities to take it. You just got to figure out how to close it and win gunfights.
Yeah, it's week 1, but it's also, this is the last season, guys. Like, this is... And it's not to harp on the performance, but it's more to say, like, you know, the decision-making was not great in the end, but also for a team that's had streaks of good performances, for a team that's had streaks of, like, good hardpoint runs, they've had streaks of good plays in S&Ds. It seems like they're not trusting each other to kind of get the setups they want. And even in the end, like, that final stack, all 4 stacked up inside the point, all pushing. It was more of like, we have to get onto the point rather than how do we get on and set up? How do we make sure that if we get wiped, we have someone around, or we make sure that we can get back into play? Like, you shouldn't lose a 12v5. You just shouldn't. In that position, with the fact that the Rocker was pushed back green on the spawn, and they had 1 player sitting inside the point, there was 2 rounds there where Katana just kind of let things happen and had to be the consequence of it. So it's credit to Rocker for 3-0, but it's very frustrating. That's a frustrating loss for Katana. That 3-0 could have been very different.
I mean, I absolutely. I mean, I'm sure you felt the frustration. I felt the frustration, but Keza literally just tried everything, I feel like, just to save those last couple of rounds, even with the glide, even with the streaks, and not just able to capitalize on anything. It's heartbreaking, but hopefully lesson learned. And of course, yes, this is the last season, but you know, at least you have somewhat of time to take the stage. You just got to learn from this week, of course. But anyway, yeah. GG's to Rocker Academy, of course, taking it. And a 3-0 sweep, kind of as we predicted. This was a must-win, but we'll see moving forward what the fate lies for Katana Gaming.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough one, but it's only going to get more difficult from here on out because, again, week 2 coming up next week, and we know that with all these players and teams trying to convene on those pro point standings, the push for Boston, the push for champs, it's going to be a lot harder the further down you go in the bracket. But coming up, it will be Ultra Academy North America versus Iron Blood Gaming. This is your schedule for North America after we come back from a small break, and Electrify Steel versus Destroy the Odds. And North America is going to be just as spicy as Europe has been today. I thought we were going to see at least 1-3-0 today, so we did get that result. But in the fashion in which it happened, I think this was a big win for Rocker. Ellen, these boys finally get a 3-0 on the board and do it in the fashion in which they did. It's got to feel good.
Absolutely. I think they really learned a lot from that loss against Timor last night. Just talking about the issues going over VOD, which we know is so crucial as a player. And I think that they really did just fire it on all cylinders today. And moving forward, I mean, I think that they're only going to get better because that's just the type of squad that they are. They just continue to keep improving. Sometimes can get complacent, but I feel like with that addition of Sukri, they've really have just picked things up a little bit from the last stage.
They absolutely have, and that's going to be an interesting thing for a lot of these teams, right? Can they continue to pick up what they've lacked in the last stage and make that final push towards the end for Boston? But that wraps things up for Europe here today for day 2. When we come back from this short break, we will be continuing on with the Call of Duty action. We're going to North America, and it's going to be an absolute banger. You do not want to miss it for Ultra Academy EU. It was a rough one today, but for Rocker, they found a way to get it done in a 3-0 fashion. It's got to feel good for those boys. But until then, we will take a quick break. When we come back, North America on the docket. You don't want to miss it. We will see you guys then.